to take it himself for a championship.
A double play wins it for Frazier.
Started to the end zone. What a catch. Micaiah touchdown.
Into the layup goes at the buzzer.
Wins it. The championship.
Sports Broadcast Solutions is a broadcasting network for everyone. At SBS, we offer a professional broadcasting experience for the non-professional athlete. Just like the pros, we offer everything for you. Play-by-play commentary.
A no-hitter at Kane County Stadium. 15 strikeouts, 1 walk, 1 error, and that's it.
Color commentary, highlight reels, recruiting videos, and much, much more. Unlike our competitors, we zoom in on the action and always have a live scoreboard with a live time code. If you're ready to have your next sporting event feel like CBS Sports, then make sure to call Sports Broadcast Solutions today. Our phone number is 330-957-7653, or you can go online to sportsbroadcastsolutions.com. SBS, a broadcasting network for everyone.
Academy Sports and Outdoors has something for everyone in your family. From top sports brands to backyard cooking or the best in the outdoors. The North Face, Yeti, Columbia, or Magellan Outdoors, Academy has it all. Whether you're celebrating familiar traditions or exploring new ones, we've got what you need in here to have fun out there. Start your next adventure and make lifelong family memories at Academy Sports and Outdoors. Download our app or shop at academy.com.
This NFHS Network Championship event is brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors.
With Academy Sports and Outdoors, you can take outdoor fun to a whole new level with just a touch of a button, because there's so much to discover on the Academy app. Create your dream outdoor living space that gets the whole family out there spending time together. Master new recipes with just the right amount of heat and the perfect spice or seasoning. And give the kids even more ways to play. Great times are waiting. Download the Academy Sports and Outdoors app today.
This NFHS Network Championship event is brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors.
Sports Broadcast Solutions is a broadcasting network for everyone. Let SBS broadcast your sporting event. We have experience and can generate excitement and permanent digital memories for your team.
Tonight. That time, finally a goal for the Stampede!
We have professional videographers using high-definition modern-day cameras, color analysts, and play-by-play announcers with state-of-the-art, classy graphical scoreboards to keep you updated. Plus, we have commercials to advertise your team, club, or sponsor, and us. Plus, we do pregame and postgame interviews.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to the post-game show brought to you by Marion Central Catholic. My name's Kyle Smith. Well, my name doesn't matter. These young ladies matter. It's senior night as the Hurricanes win a battle down the stretch, 48-46.
Hi, I'm Carrie Kramer. I swim 50 breast, 50 free, and 100 back.
Whatever your sports broadcast needs, we are at sportsbroadcastsolutions.com. Check us out and become part of the digital sporting world. Sports Broadcast Solutions is a broadcasting network for everyone. For those of you who would like to broadcast or live stream your event, or maybe make a highlight tape, but would like a sponsor to fund the event, SBS has a myriad of ways to advertise your sponsor during our broadcasts. We have commercials. We have on-air reads by the announcers.
Albatross Physical Therapy and Wellness specializes in pain-free.
We have graphics, and we have watermarks. Finally, Sports Broadcast Solutions can create a commercial for you or your sponsor. Whatever your sports broadcast needs, we are at sportsbroadcastsolutions.com. Check us out and become part of the digital sporting world.
Missing your child's sporting event just plain stinks. But you don't have to worry about that anymore, thanks to Sports Broadcast Solutions. SBS is a live broadcasting network, as well as covering your on-demand needs, recruiting videos, highlight reels, and much, much more. We can broadcast live to any website, and we also post as much on-demand content as you need. For more information about SBS, check out our website at sportsbroadcastsolutions.com. Sports Broadcast Solutions, a broadcasting network for everyone.
Sports Broadcast Solutions is a broadcasting network for everyone. For those of you that just want raw footage of your sporting event, but no play-by-play or color commentary, you just need us to live stream video from the event over the internet. We will live stream your event on YouTube on our Sports Broadcast Solutions channel. In addition, we also have a dedicated channel on YouTube for live streaming at SBS Livestream. And if you need multiple channels, we can utilize Facebook Livestream and Instagram Live on our channel as well. Options include commercials from your sponsors, professional scoreboard graphics are still available, and of course, yes, pre- and post-game interviews are available as an option if you want.
We've been working really hard this whole summer and stuff.
Whatever your sports broadcast needs, we are at sportsbroadcastsolutions.com. Check us out and become part of the digital sporting world.
Sports Broadcast Solutions is a broadcasting network for everyone. At SBS, we offer a professional broadcasting experience for the non-professional athlete. Just like the pros, we offer everything for you. Play-by-play commentary.
A no-hitter at Kane County Stadium. 15 strikeouts, 1 walk, 1 error, and that's it.
Color commentary, highlight reels, recruiting videos, and much, much more. Unlike our competitors, we zoom in on the action and always have a live scoreboard with a live time code. If you're ready to have your next sporting event feel like CBS Sports, then make sure to call Sports Broadcast Solutions today. Our phone number is 330-957-7653, or you can go online to sportsbroadcastsolutions.com. SBS, a broadcasting network for everyone.
Sports Broadcast Solutions is a broadcasting network for everyone. Instead of spending hundreds or thousands with all these college recruiting sites, let us put together your college highlight reel. For just a fraction of your potential college scholarship and significantly less than these recruiting services, we got this. In addition, we put together highlight reels for teams, including high school, your club team, or travel team.
My teammate gave me a great pass, and I just took it.
Sports Broadcast Solutions is a broadcasting network for everyone. Instead of spending hundreds or thousands with all these college recruiting sites, let us put together your college highlight reel. For just a fraction of your potential college scholarship and significantly less than these recruiting services, we got this. In addition, we put together highlight reels for teams, including high school, your club team, or travel team.
My teammate gave me a great pass, and I just took it. The other team slashed me, took the opportunity, saw where the goalie was weak, and I just shot it there.
Stolen.
O'Connor and Marsh back on defense. And Marsh gets a blowout. We got a breakaway, a 2-on-0. A shot, and it's goal! So, 3-3. The power play was officially over. Whatever your sports broadcast needs, check us out at sportsbroadcastsolutions.com. Check us out and become part of the digital world.
Sports Broadcast Solutions is a broadcasting network for everyone. At SBS, we offer a professional broadcasting experience for the non-professional athlete. Just like the pros, we offer everything for you. Play-by-play commentary.
A no-hitter at Kane County Stadium. 15 strikeouts, 1 walk, 1 error, and that's it.
Color commentary, highlight reels, recruiting videos, and much, much more. Unlike our competitors, we zoom in on the action and always have a live scoreboard with a live time code. If you're ready to have your next sporting event feel like CBS Sports, then make sure to call Sports Broadcast Solutions today. Our phone number is 330-957-7653, or you can go online to sportsbroadcastsolutions.com. SBS, a broadcasting network for everyone.
Sports Broadcast Solutions is a broadcasting network for everyone. For those of you that just want raw footage of your sporting event, but no play-by-play or color commentary, you just need us to live stream video from the event over the internet. We will live stream your event on YouTube on our Sports Broadcast Solutions channel. In addition, we also have a dedicated channel on YouTube for live streaming at SBS Livestream. And if you need multiple channels, we can utilize Facebook Livestream and Instagram Live on our channel as well. Options include commercials from your sponsors, professional scoreboard graphics are still available, and of course, yes, pre- and post-game interviews are available as an option if you want.
We've been working really hard this whole summer and stuff.
Whatever your sports broadcast needs, we are at sportsbroadcastsolutions.com. Check us out and become part of the digital sporting world. This is Sports Broadcast Solutions, a broadcasting network for everyone. Check us out at sportsbroadcastsolutions.com and become part of the digital sporting world. Sports Broadcast Solutions is a broadcasting network for everyone. Let SBS broadcast your sporting event. We have experience and can generate excitement and permanent digital memories for your team.
Tonight. That time, finally a goal for the Stampede!
We have professional videographers using high-definition modern-day cameras, color analysts, and play-by-play announcers with state-of-the-art, classy graphical scoreboards to keep you updated. Plus, we have commercials to advertise your team, club, or sponsor, and us. Plus, we do pregame and postgame interviews.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to the post-game show brought to you by Marion Central Catholic. My name's Kyle Smith. But my name doesn't matter. These young ladies matter. It's senior night as the Hurricanes win a battle down the stretch, 48-46.
Hi, I'm Carrie Kramer. I swim 50 breast, 50 free, and 100 back.
Whatever your sports broadcast needs, we are at sportsbroadcastsolutions.com. Check us out and become part of the digital sporting world. Sports Broadcast Solutions is a broadcasting network for everyone. For those of you who would like to broadcast or live stream your event, or maybe make a highlight tape but would like a sponsor to fund the event, SBS has a myriad of ways to advertise your sponsor during our broadcasts. We have commercials. We have on-air reads by the announcers.
Albatross Physical Therapy and Wellness specializes in pain-free.
We have graphics, and we have watermarks. Finally, Sports Broadcast Solutions can create a commercial for you or your sponsor. Whatever your sports broadcast needs, we are at sportsbroadcastsolutions.com. Check us out and become part of the digital sporting world.
Made from an athlete's mind for all sports minds. Level Up Branding is a unique sports marketing and branding agency, offering athlete management, brand management, and so much more. We are powered by experience, currently serving athletes in the WNBA, MLR, NFL, and college sports. We are looking to take on more clients because everyone deserves a shot at their dream. Our goal is to help others by inspiring one person at a time. Level Up Branding was founded by Lauren, who was and still is an athlete. She understands the importance of being a well-rounded and built individual. It takes an athlete to know an athlete. We are built different. There is so much more to an athlete than what is seen on the field or the court. We make it a priority to understand our athletes. We want to know and understand our clients' values, motives, passions, and future goals. At Level Up Branding, we believe in helping others succeed. We believe in giving back. We believe in family. You are more than an athlete. Level Up Branding was founded based on the sheer passion of sports, community involvement, and the sense of belonging to a community. We were created from an athlete's innovative mindset and experience, and here to offer our services to like-minded athletes.
Hey, this is Sarah Greenfalk here of Psych Edge. Do you want to learn how to improve your performance, improve your confidence, improve your resilience? Coming this fall, Psych Edge is releasing 5 workshop classes that will give you the skills to accomplish your goals with increased confidence and resilience. This is your opportunity to learn all the main psychological pieces of mental training in one place, plus the process I've developed to build these skills. Go to my website, psychedge.club, and sign up for my monthly blog emails, which will include the updates on the class release.
The first Super Bowl was held at the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum on January 15, 1967. Since then, there have been 55 Super Bowls, but 4 teams have yet to appear in a Super Bowl. Let's take a closer look at those 4 aforementioned teams. One of those teams to have never played in the Super Bowl are the Houston Texans. That may be a bad mark on the records for the Texans, but we can still cut them some slack because they are a relatively new team. The Texans did not hit the turf until 2002 when they joined the NFL. Therefore, the Texans have had fewer opportunities to make it to the Super Bowl since they've only been part of the NFL for 20 years. To put this in perspective, teams such as the Washington Commanders and the Miami Dolphins have not played in the Super Bowl since before 2002 when the Texans joined. The last time Washington made an appearance on Super Bowl Sunday was in the calendar year of 1992, and for Miami it was 1985. So while the Texans have never played in the Super Bowl, it just shows the average football fan how hard it is for any franchise to play in the NFL championship game. In fact, the Texans are the newest team to join the National Football League, which brings hope to Texans fans that maybe it will just be a matter of time before the Texans are removed from the list of teams to have never played in the Super Bowl. That being said, the Texans have been around enough to create some headache for their local fan base. Houston is one of those weird franchises who have never won a road playoff game during their brief 20 years of existence. Even worse, they've never played in the AFC Championship game. The closest that the Texans ever got to a Super Bowl was quite possibly during the 2019 postseason. Houston led 24-0 during the divisional round against the Kansas City Chiefs, but Bill O'Brien's Texans folded up quicker than a poker player without a single pair of cards. Incredibly, the Chiefs outscored the Texans 51-7 the rest of the game, en route to an incredible blowout win at Arrowhead Stadium. On a side note, the Texans are one of the few franchises to win a playoff game with their third-string quarterback. T.J. Yates, a rookie, became the starter down the stretch during the 2011 regular season, when starter Matt Schaub and backup Matt Leinart both ended up on the season-ending injured list. Yates won his first ever playoff start during the wild card round at Reliant Stadium, but he lost on the road the following weekend to the Baltimore Ravens. But playoff disappointments are nothing new to Texans fans, and they've been dominated by the opposition their fair share of times during the playoffs. The worst such occasion was in 2016, when the Texans got blown out 30-0 at home. That time around, Alex Smith was the starter in KC. The Texans are winless, of course, during the divisional playoffs, with their only close defeat in round 2 coming at the hands of the Texans. Another team on the list of 0 Super Bowl appearances is the Cleveland Browns. Since they don't have the excuse of being a new team, why haven't they played in a Super Bowl? They may not have made it to a Super Bowl yet, but looking back on their history shows they've at least come close to the Super Bowl several times. Technically speaking, the Baltimore Ravens were formerly known as the Cleveland Browns. The Ravens have won 2 Super Bowls since leaving Lake Erie, while both versions of the Browns have yet to make it to Super Bowl Sunday. The new version of the Cleveland Browns began operations in 1999. In 1968, the Browns defeated the Dallas Cowboys, which enabled them to move up to the conference championship game and play the Baltimore Colts. The Browns were defeated soundly in the championship game by Baltimore 34-0, but making it to the championship game is an accomplishment itself, as it's just one step away from the Super Bowl, and Cleveland proved that 1968 was no fluke when it came to their assortment of talented gridiron stars. The following year in 1969, the Browns made it to a championship game once again. Just like the previous year, the Browns eliminated the Cowboys during the playoffs. The pattern continued, though, in a bad way, as the Browns had a significant loss in the conference championship game. This time around, the score was 51-3, and they lost to the Vikings. If NFL fans recall, the Vikings were once known as the Purple People Eaters during the late 1960s and early 1970s. The Vikes were a formidable foe against the Browns that day, but a 51-3 beatdown is certainly not what Browns fans expected when they watched their favorite football team play on the big screen. Ever since 1969, the Denver Broncos appear to have become the Browns' bad luck charm. The Browns made it all the way to the AFC Championship game 3 times during the 1986, 1987, and 1989 seasons. However, in all 3 of those years, the Browns lost against the Broncos in the AFC Championship. In 1986, the Browns lost to the Broncos in overtime by a final score of 23-20. A 33-yard field goal by the Broncos was the tiebreaker in overtime. With a mindset of the glass half full, the Browns were just 1 field goal away from making it to the Super Bowl. But that game-winning field goal by the Broncos at the Dog Pound is hardly the end-all, be-all story when it comes to heartbreak in Cleveland. Cleveland sometimes gets the bad nickname of the mistake on the lake, and the famous YouTube parody commercial of Cleveland is kinda true. Ask any local of the 216 area code, and they'll tell you that Cleveland is not exactly Miami. And if you like professional sports teams, Clevelanders will tell you to avoid watching the Browns at all costs. Not only did Denver win all 3 AFC Championship games against Cleveland, but they won in the most unbelievable fashions. John Elway led the offense from inside his own 5-yard line to score the game-tying touchdown on 15 plays. When it was 1st and 10 from the Browns' own 2-yard line, Cleveland led 20-13 with 5 minutes and 32 seconds left. Elway then led his teammates 98 yards on 15 plays to tie the score up with just 37 seconds remaining in regulation. This has been known forever in NFL lore as the drive. The stunned crowd at Municipal Stadium simply couldn't believe it. The Browns now had to play an OT, and Elway continued his clutch play into overtime by stunning the dog pound. Even more stupefying, the Browns again lost to the Broncos the following season at a you simply can't make this up finish. With running back Ernest Byner yards away from tying the score at Mile High Stadium, Jeremiah Castile somehow forced his fumble and helped clinch his 2nd straight Super Bowl appearance for the Broncos. Although Byner would like to forget this play ever happened, it's known forever in NFL lore as simply the fumble. The 1989 AFC Championship game was all Broncos, 37-21, and not to put salt on an open wound, but Browns fans still remember Red Right 88 and the 1981 AFC Divisional game. With Cleveland's kicker struggling throughout the ballgame, QB Bryon forced a pass into a tight window in the end zone, and the Raiders intercepted the ball to win by the narrow margin of 14-12. It seemed like an okay decision for Sipe at the time, as kicks were not a sure thing for Browns kicker Don Cockcroft. Nothing worked for the Browns that day in special teams. Cockcroft missed 2 field goals, had one of his extra points blocked, and couldn't kick another extra point due to a bad snap. Sipe didn't have faith in his special teams unit, but Mike Davis read the play well and intercepted the pass intended for Ozzie Newsome to eliminate the Browns. Next up on the list of teams to never make it to the Super Bowl are the Detroit Lions. Unlike the Browns, the Lions do not have many near misses to the Super Bowl. The last time the Lions reached an AFC Championship game was over 20 years ago in 1991. In 1991, the Lions suffered a tough loss against the Washington Commanders, and they haven't won a single playoff game since the early 90s. In fact, they've only won 1 playoff game since 1957. Ask any Lions fan, and they'll tell you the reason why they never played in the NFL Championship game is because of former Hall of Fame quarterback Bobby Lane. According to legend, Lane was not happy when he got traded to the Pittsburgh Steelers. He allegedly said, "This team won't win for 50 years.
The curse of Bobby Lane? You would have to ask me that, wouldn't you? I don't know specifically what it is, but there's so many freaking curses around here. Why not throw Bobby into it?"
This supposed quote was on October 6, 1958. Why is that so important, you might ask? Well, 50 years later, the Lions finished the 2008 regular season without a single victory. They became the first NFL team to go 0-16, even with Calvin Megatron Johnson on the roster. Call it a coincidence, but it sure is interesting that the Lions became quite possibly the worst team ever assembled 50 years to the day of Lane's famous curse. Perhaps if Lions ownership asks for forgiveness about trading Lane, perhaps the curse can be lifted? I'm kidding, of course, but the numbers are very eye-opening. Since 1991, the Lions are 0-8 during the wildcard round. They also haven't hosted a playoff game since 1993. So not only is it a rare occurrence when the Lions make the postseason, but they usually don't have a good enough record or tiebreakers to even host a playoff game. Division winners are the only teams to earn the distinction of hosting a playoff game, meaning the Lions haven't even won a division title since 1993. The Jacksonville Jaguars are last on the list of non-Super Bowl teams. They're not as new as the Houston Texans, but they're still one of the newer teams in the NFL. The Jaguars and the Carolina Panthers began playing for the NFL in 1995, expanding the total number of teams to 30 at the time. The Jaguars have made it to the playoffs 7 of their 27 seasons they've played so far. That means about a quarter of the seasons the Jaguars played resulted in progressing to the playoffs. Not a great statistic by any means, especially since 14 out of the 32 teams make the postseason nowadays. Still, when the Jaguars have made the playoffs, they've usually given their fans a story to remember. In just their second season of existence, the 1996 Jags upset John Elway's Broncos at Old Mile High Stadium. Mark Brunell and the Jags won 2 playoff games that year to set up an AFC Championship game tilt against Drew Bledsoe's New England Patriots. While the Jags fought hard, they still committed 4 turnovers on the road. Brunell had a game to forget as he threw 2 interceptions and even fumbled once. He luckily didn't lose the fumble, but he threw a costly pick in the red zone late in the ballgame. With under 4 minutes to go and his team down by 7, Brunell threw into double coverage on 2nd and goal at the 5-yard line. Willie Clay intercepted it, and the Patriots went on to win 20-6. It wasn't all Brunell's fault that night, but he still only completed 52.6% of his passes with no TD passes and 2 picks. The Jaguars would get back to the AFC Championship game in 1999. With Brunell under center, the Jags easily took care of the Dolphins 62-3 the previous week. The problem was, they had to play the Tennessee Titans during an AFC title game. The Jags finished the regular season as the AFC's best seed with a 14-2 record, but both of those losses came at the hands of the Titans, and Sunday, January 23, 2000, would be no different for the Jags and their fans. Tennessee, who had already dismantled Jacksonville 41-14 on December 26, picked up where they left off with a crushing 33-14 no-doubt win against their divisional opponent, although the Jags played at home. Brunell's knees were clearly bothering him, as he had to wear braces on both of his knees. He clearly wasn't at full strength, and it showed. He threw 2 picks, including another one in the end zone. He also fumbled twice and lost a fumble. Not really his fault, but he also got sacked in the end zone for a costly safety against his team. Jacksonville actually led 7-0 and then got outscored 33-7 to fall short of a Super Bowl appearance. The Jaguars would not win another playoff game until David Garrard became the starting quarterback, after winning the wild card thriller against Ben Roethlisberger's Pittsburgh Steelers in Pittsburgh. The 17-0 undefeated Patriots knocked off the Jags at Gillette Stadium during the divisional round. Coming into the 2017 AFC Championship game, Blake Bortles was now the starting QB for Jacksonville. This time around, Jacksonville was known by their defensive nickname Saxonville, with their offense being more of a running attack than an air attack. Jacksonville came into the game 0-2 in New England all time during the playoffs, and they were hoping they could upset Tom Brady's Pats as a 3 seed and advance to its first ever Super Bowl. Jacksonville led by as many as 11 early on, and they led 20-10 early in the fourth quarter. Linebacker Miles Jack recovered a fumble by Dion Lewis and could have run it the other way for a touchdown. After further review, the officials determined that Jack was touched when he was still on the ground. The replays didn't seem to be conclusive, but the officials made their call. It was a huge decision, as Jack's touchdown would have made it 27-10. Instead, the Patriots got the ball back on a Brad Nortman punt and only needed 2 scores to win the game. Tom Terrific Brady and the Patriots did what they do best: get it done during the clutch. Brady smelled blood after Jack's possible touchdown was called back. Brady's Pats drove 85 yards to the Jaguars' end zone in under 4 minutes. After the Jaguars couldn't do anything offensively, Brady made the best of the short field by leading the offense 30 yards for the go-ahead score. With under 3 minutes left, Bortles led the offense to the New England 38-yard line, but Kyle Van Noy's sack of Bortles pretty much did in Jacksonville, and the Pats would run out the clock on some excellent run blocking. Just like that, the Jaguars fell to 0-3 all-time against the Pats in the playoffs, and once again missed out on playing in the Super Bowl. That concludes the list of teams to have never played in the Super Bowl. What are your thoughts on those 4 teams? Do you think any of them are on their way to a Super Bowl anytime soon? Who do you think will be the first to be removed from the list of teams to never play on Super Bowl Sunday?
Sports Broadcast Solutions is a broadcasting network for everyone. We broadcast sporting events for people of all ages, including adult leagues, high school leagues, and kids. Complete with professional-looking graphics, broadcasters, color analysis, and commercials. We do pre- and post-game interviews with the players. In addition, Sports Broadcast Solutions does highlight films, including college recruiting reels, highlight films you'd see on sports news programs, and just simply highlight films for fun. Sports Broadcast Solutions also provides raw footage and live streams if you'd like. Subscribe to us and listen to our professional talk videos about relevant topics in the pro and college ranks. Whatever your sports broadcast needs, contact us at sportsbroadcastsolutions.com and become part of the digital world.
With Academy Sports and Outdoors, you can take outdoor fun to a whole new level with just the touch of a button. Because there's so much to discover on the Academy app. Create your dream outdoor living space that gets the whole family out there spending time together. Master new recipes with just the right amount of heat and the perfect spice or seasoning. And give the kids even more ways to play. Great times are waiting. Download the Academy Sports and Outdoors app today.
Sports Broadcast Solutions is a broadcasting network for everyone. For those of you that just want raw footage of your sporting event, but no play-by-play or color commentary, you just need us to live stream video from the event over the internet. We will live stream your event on YouTube on our Sports Broadcast Solutions channel. In addition, we also have a dedicated channel on YouTube for live streaming at SBS Livestream. And if you need multiple channels, we can utilize Facebook Livestream and Instagram Live on our channel as well. Options include commercials from your sponsors, professional scoreboard graphics are still available, and of course, yes, pre- and post-game interviews are available as an option if you want.
We've been working really hard this whole summer and stuff.
Whatever your sports broadcast needs, we are at sportsbroadcastsolutions.com. Check us out and become part of the digital sporting world.
This NFHS Network Championship event is brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors.
With Academy Sports and Outdoors, you can take outdoor fun to a whole new level with just the touch of a button. Because there's so much to discover on the Academy app. Create your dream outdoor living space that gets the whole family out there spending time together. Master new recipes with just the right amount of heat and the perfect spice or seasoning. And give the kids even more ways to play. Great times are waiting. Download the Academy Sports and Outdoors app today.
Welcome back to the action here at beautiful Elgin Community College. I'm Kyle Smith, alongside my partner in crime and friend Bob Vilsaway for another production of Sports Broadcast Solutions / NFHS Network. That stands for the National Federation High School Network. And Bob, it's DePaul College Prep against Byron, both number 1 seeds. DePaul College Prep lost in the round of 8 last year, and Byron, they have won a couple of state championships for the IHSA.
Normally I'd like to say it's fun to be back in the booth, but here we are in the back row, kind of far from the court, but good sight lines. We're going to be able to see the whole game from here. There's so much to talk about the game, though, itself. Yeah. Byron, like you said, they won the 2 state championships back in 2015-16 and 2016-17. They have another record similar to those records. They're 33-2. Those 2 years, they were 33-3 and 34-2. Whenever they have these kind of accelerated records, look out. This is the classic battle between a city team that plays a tough schedule versus, you don't want to exactly call them a suburban team, but a team an hour or so away from Chicago. DePaul Prep has played a tougher schedule, we think, right? But Byron is a very, very tough team. When you get to the technical side of the game, though, Byron themselves, they run a very, very tenacious defense, half-court traps, full-court presses, and they get a lot of the scoring from their freshman point guard and then the senior in the middle. DePaul Prep relies a lot on the three-point basket, also a tenacious defense, but not quite so much pressing. So it's going to be interesting to see. This court is, 10 feet longer than the high school courts? So it's going to be a little bit longer to get downfield, a little bit more difficult to press. But what that might do, though, is push the DePaul Prep shots from a little bit beyond the three-point arc. You usually count steps, like from half court to where you have to set up for your three-point shot. They're going to have to go an extra 10 feet every time they go down the court, and that could take an effect on those three-point shots. Prediction, we'll go into predictions here. I'm predicting Byron to pull this out somehow with a close game, and I think we were talking earlier, and you thought DePaul would win?
Yeah, I think DePaul's going to win this one, Bob, and the reason I think that, it's a gauntlet to play in the Chicago Catholic League, and there's nothing against the other conferences, but in the Chicago Catholic League, you can get whoever you want to come to your school, and so sometimes the best talent, not all the time, but sometimes the best talent is in the Chicago Catholic League. So you're playing this gauntlet of a schedule, and 25-6 versus 33-2, whatever the records are for both teams that come into the Elite Eight. Well, it's called the Super Sectionals for the IHSA. But when you see 25-6 and you see 33-2, it comes with a little grain of salt, because when you lose 6 games in the Chicago Catholic League versus 2 games to non-conference, non-Chicago Catholic League opponents, it doesn't mean as much, in my opinion. So that being said, I think DePaul College Prep is a little bit more battle-tested. They were here last year, and I think that they have some little unfinished business from last year, and I think they're going to take care of business tonight with a win over Byron.
And you couldn't do a better point-counterpoint, because all those points are absolutely accurate. It just becomes what looks to me like it's going to be a fierce, great game that's going to come down to like a 40 to 38 final score or something like that. I'm guessing it'll be a high score because there's going to be some steals and fast breaks as a result. But I'm guessing it's going to be a low-scoring game also because both teams are absolutely tenacious defenders.
Let's show you how Byron and DePaul College Prep both got here, brought to you by the NFHS Network. Here's how Byron got here. They defeated number 2 Stillman Valley 61-38, defeated number 2 Aurora Central Catholic 58-33, and number 4 Winnebago 78-59, and number 7 Rockford Christian 74-38. This is how DePaul College Prep got here, as we show it on your screen, also brought to you by the NFHS Network. They defeated number 2 Regina Dominican 50-25, number 2 Latin School Chicago 75-33, number 7 Francis W. Parker 66-11, and number 9 Chicago, that's Noble/Roe Clark 60-21. We'll take a break, and the national anthem coming up next here on SBS.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Elgin Community College. St. Edward's Central Catholic High School is your host for this Class 2A super sectional game. The visitors will be Byron High School taking on the home team, DePaul College Prep. At this time, we will all please rise, honor our country by raising the flag, and join St. Edward Central Catholic High School senior Joseph Johnson for the singing of our national anthem. Oh, say can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed as the twilight's last gleam, whose rush stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched, were so gallantly streamed. And the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave. Ladies and gentlemen, let's meet the Tigers for the next game. First for the visiting Tigers of Bryon High School. Number 4 is a freshman guard, Macy Bryon. Number 11 is the senior forward, Byron. Number 12 is the sophomore guard, Byron. Number 13 is the senior forward, Number 22 is the senior center, Byron. The head coach for Bryon High School is Eric Bryon. He's assisted by Ronald Seats and Daniel Myers. Now let's meet the home team started from DePaul College Prep. Number 14 is the senior guard, Jaden Kosak. Number 15 is the senior center, Nora Leachman. Number 20 is the junior guard, Casey Galloway. Number 21 is the junior guard, Charlotte Collins. And number 23 is the sophomore forward, Robert George. The head coach for DePaul College Prep is Sarah Zarinsky. She's assisted by Amy Santucci and Laura Emerson.
Back to the action at beautiful Elgin Community College. I'm Kyle Smith alongside Bob Bilsaway as it's about to start. We're very far back, but the further back you are, Bob, the more wide shot, the more you're going to see the play develop. So it should be a very interesting camera angle. We get to see the entire three-point line. We're going to see everything. So, like, anything that happened on the court from our wide angle, we're going to see tonight.
The only thing we won't know is whether it's really a foul or not. So when LeBron James goes for a layup and gets touched, was that really a foul or did he not get fouled? So we won't be able to second guess the referee calls today, which is just fine. It's going to be an exciting game, though. Like I said, expect it to be a medium scoring, but very tight game. And then the reward to get to the state championship next week.
This is a Byron team with 4 freshmen, notably Macy Grow-Herring, that's number 4. Tip off, and it's won by the Tigers. Byron in their half-court set, looking to advance to the Final Four, known as the state semifinals. In the lane, good one-on-one defense, barely hit rim, rebounded by DePaul College Prep, and here come the Rams. Full head of steam, great job with the basketball, drives in.
There's a wickedly fast pace here.
That was Casey Galloway on the shot. Byron goes the other way with it, as that's Macy Grow-Herring.
Macy Grow-Herring, the freshman phenom. You said 4 freshmen to play a lot.
If it gets to be a dominating performance, we're going to see those freshmen just barely hit rim, and it's rebounded by Britton Bielskis, and here come the Tigers. In their half-court set. Leading the way right now is Bielskis. Looks like Bielskis. In the lane.
That was the other big scorer.
Yeah, they got it over that time to Colchin. She had 24 in that win over Stillman Valley. They beat Stillman Valley 3 times to get here. In the lane, tough shot, rebounded by DePaul. That's Jaden Kosanek, and here come the Rams. In the lane, double team, breaks through the double team, no good. Offensive board, second chance is good. That time it's Nora Liedstrom.
And that's what Byron has to be very worried about, offensive boards from DePaul Prep.
Tigers with it in their half-court set. Off the backboard and good by Colchin.
The other big scorer, Colchin, you pointed out she had 24 points, but she had 24 points of the 38 scored in the entire game.
This is a DePaul team that likes to do a lot of full-court presses. No call, trying to save it. Ball loose, Byron picks it up. Here come the Tigers. DePaul has looked a little shaky in their half-court sets to begin the game. Offense now to the Tigers as they look to make it 6-2 or maybe more. Fakes a 3-point shot in the lane, reach-in foul committed by DePaul.
That's the player that's going to be impossible to stop for DePaul. Macy Grow-Herring, just a freshman.
You look at her stats, she had 11 in that win over Stillman Valley. That was for the round of 16 win, 61-38.
Yeah, and 462 points on the year. Only Colchin, 530 points, had more.
Unfriendly roll, and it's rebounded by the Rams. Lost her dribble, and then out to the point guard, to the 3-point line. Fakes the 3. Double team comes. Byron quick on defense. The mid-range jumper.
And those are the shots. They aren't going to fall as easily with the 10 feet extra on the court that they have to run. DePaul's got to watch that. Try to work the ball inside.
Lack of communication on defense, and it leads to an easy layup for Byron. What'd you see there, Bob?
Again, Byron wants to cut the ball inside. They're not going to settle for the 3-point shots.
Yeah, if DePaul keeps giving up those easy baskets like that, backdoor cut, easy layup, it's going to be a blowout win for Byron tonight.
Well, DePaul can't settle for the jump shots, and I don't think they should be settling for 3-pointers, but that's part of their offense, right? Where I think Byron's able to work the ball in more and rely on the 2 stars on the inside. Now, even though Grow-Herring is a guard, she loves to drive and get inside points, right? And then also inside points is Colchin. So between those two, they're going to score a lot of points down low and then also draw some fouls along the way.
We talk about freshmen. There's not a single freshman on this DePaul team. 4 on the varsity roster for Byron. Big-time bucket partner. Just when Byron looked like they had the momentum going their way. Big-time bucket in the lane right there.
Well, and she's going to be hard to stop. Tall, good fundamentals down low off the backboard.
Gracie Grow-Herring, wide open shot for Colchin, and she nails it.
You're going to see a lot of passes between those two down low.
Out to the 3-point line, now driving in. The circus shot, no good, rebounded by the Tigers.
You just can't take bad shots like that. The game's too important.
Colchin almost traveled, luckily did not move her pivot foot. That would have been a break for DePaul if she had traveled. Fakes the triple, and great job on the crossover. Bounce pass in the lane, no good. Rebounded that time by the Rams. London Walker-George. George lost it. Byron looking to push. They don't have numbers, though. DePaul got back quickly. Foul, going to the line for 2. It's going to be Malaya Wood.
Grow-Herring equally effective left side, right side on those layups. Took the body, went to the hoop.
As a former high school player, Bob, she got back in time, but she still fouled. How do you contest without fouling when you're on your back foot like that?
Nowadays you just have to let it go. The older days you could kind of muscle it and push the ball carrier, the ball carrier away from the lane, right? But now you just have to let that person go. You can time the jump, try and block it from behind, but if you get in the way and if there's any contact at all, the call gets made. In fact, nowadays, just by your body position being in the wrong place, no contact gets made, the call gets made.
Got back in time, but she just didn't have enough, Bob, to get outside the restricted area to draw the charge, and trying to make it 10-4 now is Byron.
Well, you can get in between the person driving and the bucket and cause them to drive their shoulder into you, and then you can get the offensive call, right? But anything short of that, you're just going to get called for a foul.
One thing that DePaul can't do is allow easy, fast break and transition buckets.
And here's a turnover from DePaul, an easy one where she was on the sideline when she collected the ball. Byron with the ball and the lead. Everything's going their way so far. The only shooters, Culton and Grow-Herring.
Man, she is fun to watch. She's only a freshman, only in that 15 to 16-year-old age bracket.
Yeah, and with what was it, 460 points she said she had? She's going to have 2,000 points by the time she graduates. Start the Division I scholarships now.
DePaul's not playing terribly, Bob, but you'd like to see a little bit better in their half-court offense.
They're not playing terrible. They are a good team. I just think Byron is very good as well. Excellent patience.
No shot clock, so that's going to come down the stretch, Bob. Both teams want to get to the state semifinals. They can waste as much clock as they want because you know what? No shot clock.
Well, it's important to get the lead early. And the rebound is important. Now they get another attempt.
That time London gets it, and they're going to push. Here come the Rams. Two women back on defense for the Tigers. Inside the lane, good post-up move. The lefty shot no good. Tipped away and picked up by the Tigers. All right, Bob, I'll let you call it. Good aggressive foul or bad foul?
I was looking down at the score sheet to see that Nora Lidstrom's name on that last shot, so I didn't get a good look at the play. I can't give you my opinion. I'm so sorry.
It's another foul committed by DePaul. They've got three, just one right now committed by Byron.
It is difficult to second guess any referees from this distance. We're like in the Bob Uecker seats.
I like the aggression, partner, but you don't want to continue to rake up those fouls because you're already down. Now you're giving Byron the lead at the free throw line, potentially.
Well, and that's what the lead does for you. When you have the lead, you tend to relax. When you're behind, you tend to tense up and make those kinds of mistakes. Now, Byron has gotten stuck in the corner there, but brings it out and patiently running their offense. With the lead, you can be more patient.
Bielskis kicks it out to the three-point line, now at the wing. Fakes the jumper that time by Malia Morton. Morton has a bucket thus far. 10-4 the score as it's being set up by Bielskis. There's Grow-Herring. Good bounce pass on the baseline. Finds the open woman. Off the glass and good.
That was a really nice set play. They patiently waited until they could get it. DePaul wisely calls timeout. They're going to have to figure out how they can stop this dynamic duo. Grow-Herring and Culton are just running wild, 12-4 lead in a fast-paced, fast-break type game.
So head coach Sarah Zarbowski has seen enough. We'll take a 30-second break. You are watching the Rams against the Tigers here on SBS.
Sports Broadcast Solutions is a broadcasting network for everyone. At SBS, we offer a professional broadcasting experience for the non.
Back to the action at Sports Broadcast Solutions, a broadcasting network for everyone. Kyle Smith alongside Bob Vilsoe. Bob, it's 12-4 in favor of the Tigers. No need for the Rams to panic, but you got to avoid the turnovers if you can.
Oh, absolutely. And I do think offensively, you need to get the ball down low, too. They're right there. Nora Lidstrom, work the ball inside. Maybe you can draw a foul or two on Culton. It's going to be hard to defend the paint for Byron.
12-6 lead right now for the Tigers. Three-point shot by Bielski's. Terrible shot. Rebounded by the Rams. Off the glass. Rams looking to charge. Might have been a travel no call, and the Tigers will save it on the baseline, double team.
And there's where you see the longer court come into play. She had to take a couple, 2 or 3 more dribbles to go the extra 10 feet, and she's just not used to that yet. I remember when I made that transition, high school to college, that extra 10 feet matters. You got to take an extra dribble. I don't have the length on it steps like Giannis.
Nobody does, Bob.
Right, so you have to take a couple extra dribbles, and that messes up your timing on those fast breaks. And 3-point shots won't fall as easily. It makes a difference, especially when you're not expecting it. Kind of an out-of-control layup attempt there.
Here come the Rams again, and it's picked up by Kozlowski. Out to the 3-point line to London. Shot is just barely hitting the rim, rebounded by the Tigers.
Yeah, that would not be my recommended way to try to score for DePaul. Grunstrom took a shot for Byron earlier. Here's another one.
Mid-range jumper, no good, can't box out. But Walker George able to get it.
Now Grunstrom has to get back on defense. She can't just wave at the ball coming down on the fast break. Now here it goes back the other way. She should slow this down.
Yeah, you'd like to see Walker George be more in rhythm, partner. It looked like she could have got another step for that layup. It looked like it was not in control there.
I'll blame the longer court again on that, but I can't blame it on everything. So at the end of the first quarter, 12-6 lead, and Byron working for the last shot.
You surprised? There's the press. I was just going to say, are you surprised DePaul's not pressing and then they bring in the late press?
Yeah, I was a little surprised not to see more pressing, absolutely, by both teams. I'm expecting to see like a 1-3-1 half-court trap of some kind from Byron. Maybe a full-court press as well I expected to see. But right now, it's just been a fast-paced game, up and down. Usually you put the presses on in the trap zones after baskets made. There hasn't been a lot of scoring in this first quarter.
Rams with the basketball, over to Walker George. We've said her name a lot. In the lane, shot no good, rebounded by the Tigers. They got to hustle. 3 seconds left, now 2. Potential half-court heave, and they pass it off instead. I would have liked to have been aggressive there, partner, for the half-court shot. I understand wanting to be a little bit conservative there, but you're only up 6, you're not up 16. You surprised they didn't do a half-court shot there?
Well, they just never got an open look. I mean, you're not going to make it from 50 yards away from the basket, so they have to get a little bit closer attempt, and, well, they just couldn't work it in. Good defense by DePaul. But going back to Walker George a little bit, there's a lot of shots. She's clearly the leader of this team, but she needs to shoot on balance. Everything she's doing so far is, she's in the air, but jumping one way or the other, leaning forward, whatever. And I think if she's going to make outside shots, she is a good outside shooter. We've seen this on the highlight films. She needs to shoot on balance.
We're going to take a break. Second quarter coming up next here on SBS, a broadcasting network for everyone.
Missing your child's sporting event just plain stinks. But you don't have to worry about that anymore, thanks to Sports Broadcast Solutions. SBS is a live broadcasting network, as well as covering your on-demand needs, recruiting videos, highlight reels, and much, much more. We can broadcast live to any website, and we also post as much on-demand content as you need. For more information about SBS, check out our website at sportsbroadcastsolutions.com. Sports Broadcast Solutions, a broadcasting network for everyone.
Back to the action at SBS, a broadcasting network for everyone. If you're just joining us, Byron has never trailed. It was 2-0 Byron. It's been all Tigers since. But, partner, they only lead by 6, so 2 threes by DePaul College Prep and a defensive stop, and we're all tied at 12.
Well, at this pace, it'll be, 48-24 in favor of Byron? so DePaul Prep has to step it up, and Byron has to continue to push.
Yeah, it's been an off shooting night, that's for sure, by Walker George. He's got to improve if the Rams are going to win, or pass it off to a teammate. Stolen away by the Rams. Here comes DePaul from the Chicago Catholic League. In their half-court set, driving in off the baseline, now in the lane, off the glass, no good. Going for the offensive board, rebounded by Colchin.
Again, looking to run, Byron. Bad pass, like you said, yeah. But both teams, they want to run, and they have excellent defenses.
I mean, you don't want to keep DePaul in the game, partner. They're a number 1 seed from their regional for a reason. Another
Here's
bad
the trap,
pass.
right? I expected a lot of trapping. This should be an easy layup. There it goes. Byron has a very tough half-court trap defense that DePaul has to be aware of.
Good
and that's
pass.
one way to beat that trap defense.
Yeah,
they were prepared for the trap defense. Excellent pass underneath the Lidstrom.
That was a baseball-style pass from George.
Yeah, I don't like the jump shot there. I think she should have driven it in. It was one-on-one.
Good pass, one-on-one the other way. Looking for a travel, the audience was, but no call. Back to the three-point line. The triple, no good. Walker George on the rebound attempt, but the board goes the way of the Tigers.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy with how Byron is rebounding. I thought that DePaul would have an advantage with the boards, but not so.
Tigers have not trailed all night. Okay,
stolen
bounce pass,
again.
but another steal. How about this? DePaul not doing well offensively, but the defense, you could argue, has been better than Byron tonight.
Well, they both have tenacious defenses. There it goes, the three.
That's what I was worried about, partner. You keep allowing the Rams to be in the game, eventually those threes are going to fall.
Yeah, Byron needs to stay disciplined in the offense and not turn the ball over. This is 3 times in a row, 4 times in a row, 4 turnovers.
They've got numbers. They need to push. 3-on-2 in the lane. Avoids the charge.
Oh, bailed out by a foul call.
No, I think that was the right call.
It might be. It's hard to tell from up here, but certainly bailed out. So the shooter's at the line. Liedstrom.
Partner, when you're on defense like that, you know that your defense does not have the numbers. Offense has 3, you have 2. You're trying to get the charge. What do you do to make it obvious for the official that you're getting in the way of the offensive player to allow the charge to happen?
Back away slowly and hope for travel, something of that nature. Otherwise, you just got to go all out, take the charge, and you'll get called for blocking. That was a 4-on-2 break. DePaul handled it well, at least got the foul out of it.
You got to give credit to the offensive player, the woman that's at the line right now, and Nora Liedstrom, avoiding the charge, going to the left, and going into contact for the foul.
Yeah, she's absolutely terrific on offense. It's going to be hard to stop down low. They're going to have to double team her, I think, down low. When she gets the ball, stop her with probably Kultgen, and somebody else is going to have to come low and take her dribble away.
It's 14-12 in favor of Byron.
Yeah, but Byron's got 4 turnovers in a row, and they've gotten away from letting Bryon here and handle the ball underneath like this. No foul call there. That probably could have been called too. There's a steal that wasn't made. Get back on defense.
Fakes the 3. Only down 2. DePaul trailed as much as 6. In the lane, trying to get the reach in. Partner, is that too aggressive though? It looked like she had help on the rotation. Why try to reach in there?
Yes, he absolutely should not reach in, but obviously Walker George made a smart play, knew she was going to get the contact, embellished it just enough to get to the free throw line, and that's the good way to win a game, get to the free throw line. So that 48-24 projection, now it's just a 2-point game in the middle of the second quarter.
On defense, you know the rotation's there, but how do you communicate in a loud gym like this to know that the help is there on the right wing, that you don't have to reach into foul like that?
Well, the players can hear themselves on the court. The noise in the crowd isn't affecting them. And here, the crowd is actually kind of far away from the court. So they can absolutely hear and talk on defense there. They can hear each other. But they do need to talk.
Bad misses at the free throw line. Should be a tie game or at least a 1-point deficit.
I thought we were going to see another turnover. From this angle, it looked like it. From the other angle, she must have reached in, knocked it out.
Bob, as a head coach, when do you value timeouts and when do you value possessions more in a game?
That's a good question. Most coaches will say every timeout is worth a possession.
In the lane, double team comes. Could have gone either way. Caitlin Totoro argues that it was all ball. I'm going to agree with Totoro. I thought that was all ball. Partner, did you hear any wrist action on that block attempt?
I think there had to be. Again, we're too far away, but Hultgen held the ball high, right? So it was so high that I think DePaul had no choice. If they were going to knock the ball out of her hand, it was going to be. It's not Hultgen at the line. Sorry.
Kolchin.
I think she's back there. But anyway,
well,
she held
Kolchin's 22, Bielski's is 12,
yeah.
So it's Bielski's at the line.
Right, so she held the ball high. I think if DePaul was going to knock the ball out of her arms, it had to be to hit the arms. So yes, I think there was probably a foul there, but it's hard to tell from here.
Walker George in the lane, splits the D off the boards,
again,
no
off
good.
balance. And Byron off to the races.
A little ankle breaker off the window and good by Kolchin.
Take the easy scores.
That wasn't easy though, partner. She was going towards her left when she shot it.
Well, she's left-handed.
Now up by 5. DePaul's had their opportunities, partner, especially at the free throw line.
Oh,
should have had that one.
Again, just a reach in. You can't reach in. There's a foul. Stop reaching in. And DePaul and Byron have to get back on defense on these breaks.
Surprised that Malaya Wood missed that layup, partner. It looked like she had an open lane to the basket.
She did, absolutely did. She was probably as surprised as anybody that she had that open lane. Byron just waved at her with a little bit of a reach-in attempt, pulled the arm back so there's no foul, and gave her the lane, gave her the shot. Got to make those. Game's too important, not. I think Byron would be wise to be a little bit patient here, work around until they get a good shot. Instead, they threw it out of bounds.
Yeah, I mean, if you're Byron, you got to consider calling a timeout soon. You have seen a lot of laziness on offense that have led to easy turnovers, forcing the turnovers by DePaul. This could easily be a tie game right now.
Yeah, the coach is showing a lot of patience, A, not calling the timeout, and B, not subbing somebody. You know, this longer court is going to wear on their ability to
yeah, the conditioning.
not be winded. A long three that's off the rim.
Yeah, you'd like to see that be a better arc, not trying to go to the bank this late at night. Out of bounds, and they're going to say last touched by DePaul. We have a substitution for the Rams.
Yeah, if I was coaching here, I would recommend to both teams that you want to work it in down low, work it in inside out. If you're going to shoot the threes, it's because you've already worked it down low and you kick it out.
Some low block play right now by Colchin. Gets the friendly roll.
What a great move. She hooked her right foot and her right elbow around the defender and was able, almost a back row.
A back court.
Yeah.
Back row.
Back row. Yeah, right, back row. Almost a back court violation. But she hooked her elbow and her leg around and made an easy basket. And here, Lidstrom again. Tough to stop.
Do you consider taking Walker George out of the game for a couple minutes? She looks winded and kind of out of control right now.
I'm surprised there wasn't a foul call there. I don't think I would take her out yet, but maybe slowing it down a little bit. But you're right, she looks winded. They're right there at the half-court mark. Look at that in slow motion. There's another steal.
Look at that steal. Here comes Byron, already up by 7. Oh, the play from behind!
No, that had to be a foul.
Malaya Wood with the block of the game. Walker George now with it. George trying to draw the contact.
And there's the charge. She did draw the contract, and that was also the appropriate call.
Foul called against Walker George. 5 fouls, now make it 6. Only 3 fouls committed by Byron.
Increasing the lead now to a touchdown.
You're right, though, Parter. It looked like Wood got some of the wrist, but they let her play on. It was a fantastic play by Wood. I thought it was going to be a Euro step easy layup, but Wood stayed with it on defense and got at least a piece of the ball.
A piece of the ball and probably both arms.
Which is illegal. Bielski.
Oh, another foul called. When you go for a layup and you go up from under, right, you will often get a foul called on the follow-through because players try to block that ball and they end up hitting your wrist. When you go for a shot and you keep your elbow high, you don't as often get a foul called on the play. So I think she was foul hunting on that layup.
By the way, the text line's open. Your favorite high school, college, NBA or WNBA memory. Text 330-957-7653 as we're in the second quarter.
Yeah, Carson Bielskis missed that first shot. If you're going to get fouled, it's your responsibility to make the free throws. Otherwise, somebody else could have taken a two-pointer.
That rim has not been kind. Walker George missed both of her shots at the charity stripe as well.
Yeah, DePaul's considered the home team, but it's a foreign gym to both. I like the neutral site setting, though.
Yeah, I mean, you're this late in the tournament. At this point, you'd like to have all the games neutral site. Turnaround jumper, Lidstrom. She's been their best player by far today. They double team Colchin. Great lead pass. Layup goes.
They need more of that. More to Grow Herring. That's the key to this game. Even though she's a freshman, she's the key to this game. Lidstrom is the key to the game for DePaul. Got fouled there.
All right, partner, I'll let you grade that. I personally think that's a bad foul. You're up by 7. Just play good defense. Now you're giving DePaul College Prep kind of a free timeout to kind of regroup on offense to reset their half-court set here.
Couldn't agree more. I don't think there's ever a such thing as a good foul, except maybe late in the game when you have a 3-point lead and you give them 2 shots at the free throw line. Never foul if you can.
Especially when you're up by 7. Bad shot by Lidstrom.
Yeah,
Great defense, too.
Right. They finally stopped Lidstrom, and it was because Colchin was right behind her. Take your time here on offense.
Might have traveled, but no call. Looked like she picked up that pivot foot, but no call. They haven't called a lot of travels in the game thus far. Letting them play. Colchin double team. Wide open woman. 3-point shot. Good. Right, Macy Grow-Herring.
Like I said, get out your Division I scholarship offers now for her.
26-16. Largest lead for the Tigers. Double team on the wing. Lidstrom. Now to the point guard in Wood. 3-point shot off the iron, no good. Rebounded by Brett by the Rams. Second opportunity is good. Great job by Casey Galloway.
Right in the land of the trees. That was a nice shot from DePaul.
Byron now with it.
Yeah, a little out of control here. Slow it down. Don't have any turnovers here.
On the baseline. Where's the foul?
I think she might have got all ball, but again, out of control. You want to stay in control. Keep the ball in Hultgen and Grohering's hands. Kultgen and Grohering's hands.
That's definitely, we got some unique last names today. We got Grohering and Kultgen. 26-18, Byron just outside of Rockford. DePaul College Prep from the city. Shot, no good.
You mean the shot was from the city?
that too, but DePaul from the city.
Yeah, that shot was from another zip code. Don't do that. Drive it in. Patience.
Remember, no shot clock, so you can hold the ball here if you have some good passes.
Well, and you have the lead, so there's no hurry. 8-point lead. You're at the free throw line with 55 seconds to go in the second quarter. No call?
The Byron fans don't like it, partner, but it looked like she traveled just before she was fouled.
I assumed it was a foul and started to look down at the roster again.
Yep, definitely a travel. Had the chance for the triple, but they're going to hold the ball here for a couple more seconds. From one wing to the other. Wide open
I don't
corner
like this shot.
three.
It
Yes!
went in, though.
Oh, boy, did DePaul need that one.
Casey
Big
Galloway,
time shot.
big three-pointer from the corner. Almost a backcourt violation there.
Remember, Byron does not have to shoot till the end because there's no shot clock.
Right, but the lead now is only, 5 points?
Ball's loose.
And
DePaul with the
turnover.
steal. Do not call timeout. Byron has numbers on defense. Splits the D. The righty layup. No good. Byron has time. 8 seconds left to end the half. On her left hand to Kultgen. The three. No good. Rebounded by DePaul. At the horn. Just a little short.
So just a 5-point lead after all that. So it was a 6-point lead at the end of the first quarter. Now it's a 5-point lead, and going into halftime, the game got suddenly a lot more exciting.
Yeah, DePaul has had their opportunities. We'll see what adjustments they make at halftime. We'll take a 5-minute break. It is the Byron Tigers 26 and DePaul Prep 21 here on SBS, a broadcasting network for everyone.
Sports Broadcast Solutions is a broadcasting network for everyone. At SBS, we offer a professional broadcasting experience for the non-professional athlete. Just like the pros, we offer everything for you. Play-by-play commentary.
A no-hitter at Kane County Stadium. 15 strikeouts, 1 walk, 1 error, and that's it.
Color commentary, highlight reels, recruiting videos, and much, much more. Unlike our competitors, we zoom in on the action and always have a live scoreboard with a live time code. If you're ready to have your next sporting event feel like CBS Sports, then make sure to call Sports Broadcast Solutions today. Our phone number is 330-957-7653, or you can go online to sportsbroadcastsolutions.com. SBS, a broadcasting network for everyone.
County Stadium, 15 strikeouts.
Hey, this is Sarah Greenfalk here of Psych Edge. Do you want to learn how to improve your performance, improve your confidence, improve your resilience? Coming this fall, Psych Edge is releasing 5 workshop classes that will give you the skills to accomplish your goals with increased confidence and resilience. This is your opportunity to learn all the main psychological pieces of mental training in one place, plus the process I've developed to build these skills. Go to my website, psychedge.club, and sign up for my monthly blog emails, which will include the updates on the class release.
There's only one present-day Major League Baseball team to never advance to the World Series, and you guessed it, the unluckiest of those MLB franchises is the one and only Seattle Mariners. In case you believe in curses, Mariners fans like to blame the team's unlucky ways on the curse of the Seattle Pilots. If you didn't know, the Pilots were actually the first MLB team in the history of Seattle baseball, but because fans didn't come to the games, Bud Selig and his ownership group bought the Pilots for $10.8 million to bring the franchise to Milwaukee. The Milwaukee Brewers began operations in 1970, meaning the Pilots only lasted 1 year in Seattle. The Pilots filed for bankruptcy on April 1st, 1970, and since then, Mariners fans have been subjected to lackluster baseball. If you're a fan of superstitions, the legend goes that because enough fans didn't attend the Pilot home games, a curse was put on the Brewers and any franchise that would materialize in Seattle thereafter. Since the Pilots left in 1970, the Brewers and Mariners have only played in one combined World Series. Even though the Mariners won 116 regular season games in 2001, the M's still didn't advance to the World Series after having to face off against the New York Yankees during the American League Championship Series. Fans like to point to the curse as the Pilots could have stayed in Seattle if there were more fans at the games. However, according to numerous reports, the situation at Sick's Stadium was so dire that fans couldn't even flush the toilets during home games. Sick's Stadium was reportedly called a pig pen by Oakland Athletics owner Chuck Finley, and the home of the Pilots only allowed 11,000 fans entering the 1969 season. Fans had every right to avoid attending Pilots games, especially since ticket prices for the Pilots were some of the highest in the league. Still, it's quite a coincidence that when the Mariners were 3 weeks away from playing in the 2001 American League Division Series, tragedy struck at the Twin Towers. Do I believe in curses? Absolutely not. But the Yankees were media darlings that October after what happened at the World Trade Center. The talk of baseball prior to September 11th was Ichiro Suzuki's incredible rookie season, and the Mariners looking to obtain the best regular season record in MLB history. But after 9/11, the Mariners were considered more of the indifferent Pacific Coast ball club than the rooting interests of fans. Bud Selig bought the Pilots, and since then, the Brewers have only played in one World Series. They've only won 5 division titles, and they've only played the National League Championship Series twice since changing leagues in 1997. Did the baseball gods curse the Brewers for not allowing the Pilots enough time to establish a Seattle franchise? Time will only tell. For those of you who aren't superstitious, the reason for the Mariners' misfortunes have to do with crappy scouting, subsequent lowly draft selections, and overall player development. However, the history of low attendance continued with the early years of Mariners baseball. After the Commissioner's Office awarded Seattle another MLB franchise following the breach of contract lawsuit against the American League, the Mariners continue to have low attendance numbers, similar to the Pilots. The Mariners wouldn't have a winning season until 1991, and even when the ball club showed signs of winning, the M's traded away starting pitcher Bill Swift. Swift won the ERA crown in 1992 and finished third in Cy Young voting in 1993. Swift was traded to San Francisco following that 1991 winning season in Seattle. Things started to turn around during the early 90s once the new owner, Hiroshi Yamauchi, signed manager Lou Piniella. The Mariners would go on to win its first division title in 1995 and win its first postseason series. It was Seattle's first postseason appearance since the franchise began operations in 1977. In fact, if the Mariners hadn't won the 1995 American League West Division, the franchise could have easily left Seattle. The California Angels blew a 13-game lead over Seattle, and the Mariners defeated the Angels 9-1 in the one-game playoff for the AL West Division crown. But, as per the curse of the Seattle Pilots, the M's always find themselves just short of an American League pennant. The 95 ALCS featured 2 unlikely teams, the M's and the Cleveland Guardians. The Guardians, who hadn't won the pennant since 1954, were something of an underdog themselves. The 1995 season would be Seattle's third ever winning season, but they wouldn't play in the Fall Classic. The Indians/Guardians won the 1995 American League Championship Series 4-2, with the Mariners dumping their last 3 in the toilet. In fact, the Mariners went scoreless the last 15 innings of the ALCS. While the Mariners lost the Championship Series, it's still a season that many Seattle baseball fans remember fondly. Ken Griffey Jr.
Back to the action at Sports Broadcast Solutions, a broadcasting network for everyone. Kyle Smith alongside Bob Vilsaway. Bob, it's 26-21 in favor of Byron, but they got to be better in their half-court sets, Bob, because Byron's been a little bit lazy, a little bit careless with the basketball, and DePaul's had the opportunities to tie this score.
Well, I've been thinking about that. What adjustments would I be making if I was first DePaul and then Byron? But we'll start with Byron since you brought them up first. They're up by 5, so the initial inclination is, well, don't really have to change anything. They are ahead. Their fast breaks are doing well. the problem is they started out patient, and that's how they got their good lead. And then they got a little bit out of that patience, and they tried to hurry, and then things got out of control. And DePaul at one point had 4 steals in a row. So they've got to control the ball more patiently on offense, yet at the same time push the pace when they have the numbers. Now DePaul is the team that has to change something because they're the team that's down 5. And they live or die by the 3-point basket, it seems, although Lidstrom is a real handful down low. So that shot at the end of the half by Galloway really made a game-changing change. It was 26-18, 8 points after a half is kind of a big lead. 5 points after a half isn't so big. So if they can make a couple of threes and get back in the game, that would work. But I think that DePaul's answer to get back in the game is by going down low to Lidstrom. And then both teams need to continue to turn up the pressure on defense just a little bit to try to cause a couple more turnovers, double team the ball, shoot the gaps on the passes, and try to get some defensive scores that way. Otherwise, I think both teams would be wise also to keep the ball down low. Byron has to keep the ball in Kulchin's hands and Grohering's hands as much as possible. I think if they do that, and if they succeed at doing that, Byron, it's going to be hard to catch up to Byron with their stifling defense and patient offense.
Yeah, I mean, Grohering, she had the game-winning bucket to beat Winnebago, which kept their undefeated record. Byron only has 2 losses. DePaul has 6. Are we seeing why DePaul has more losses this year than Byron? Sometimes, especially with how London has shot the ball. She has not shot the ball particularly well tonight, partner. How can you correct that? You've seen her tonight. She's shooting off balance. She's not going right into the hoop. She's shooting away from the hoop. How do you correct that during warm-ups to be better as we enter the second half here?
Well, yes, a great question and 2 answers to that. First, when she does shoot any kind of a jump shot, no matter where, she has to jump straight up and straight down. In other words, on balance, right? That's the first thing. The second thing is try to get more layups. I mean, I think against this Byron defense, she can get inside. And between her and Lidstrom down low, even if you miss the basket, they have tremendous offensive rebounding potential there. So I would keep the ball if I could from DePaul's perspective, and bring it up with your point guards, right? Not take the 3-point shots, but get the ball down low to Lidstrom and, of course, Walker George. And I think they could create a lot of havoc down low.
Winner advances to Redbird Arena for the state semifinals. Loser gets orange slices and a juice box. You get some handshakes and some high fives, but that's it for your season.
Well, and I never forget an opportunity to say Illinois State is my alma mater, and so I had season tickets to the Redbirds games when I was there for 4 years.
Yeah, they probably never won when you went to a game.
No, they were good, but no, you're right. It's a relative term, right? When you're top 10 or top 20 in the country versus a championship.
Wide open shot for Kulchin, unfriendly rim, ball loose, little ping pong action, and eventually goes into the hands of a Rams player. That's Walker George.
Couldn't have said it best, an unfriendly rim. That was a good shot. Just didn't go.
Great shot. She has been their second best player today, Casey Galloway. She's made some big time shots down the stretch for DePaul. Inside the lane, looking for the answer. No good, and DePaul can tie it with a 3.
Good defense by Lidstrom.
3-point shot for the tie. No good. Good box out. And here come the Tigers.
Yeah, that's a 3-point shot. I just wouldn't recommend. Take some time, work it in down low. Pass it out if you have to for the 3. But don't shoot a 3 unless you've attempted something down low first.
Open shot for Kulchin. Air ball.
Can't do that either. There's nobody on the weak side board.
Looking to push. Help is there on defense for the Tigers.
Galloway got lucky to hold on to that possession.
And partner, if you're London Walker George, you've made some mistakes today, but you can't think about it. You just got to move on. Know the score. You're only down by 3. You got to move forward. Can't think about the pass.
I was just going to say that. You're only down by 3, and you haven't especially played that well. Play normal. You got this.
Walker George, that time off the side of the rim, rebounded by the Tigers, and they'll slow it down. They go to the bench. Grunstrom in the game, and she'll be playing a little point forwards today for Byron. Hesitation move to the lane, draws the foul.
Little ankle twist there. Hopefully she's all right.
We talk about good fouls versus bad fouls. I think that would be the quote-unquote good foul because you don't want to give her an easy layup there.
And she's talented under the hoop. If you knock her down, well, at least she's at the free throw line for 2, not getting a 3-point play.
And as we've seen, nothing is guaranteed today at the free throw line.
This kid's going to be scary, and she's already scary, right? In 2 years when she's a couple inches taller and 2 more years of experience under her.
Both are good. Back up to 5. Partner, if you're DePaul, you know that if you get a 2 here, you're only a 3 away from tying it, but you want to get good baskets, so how do you not rush it on offense?
Well, that's exactly what they did. They rushed it on offense and gave the ball away. I mean, you couldn't have called it at a better time. You have to have patience, work for a good shot. There is no shot clock. Work it around until you get your layup. You get a layup or a foul. Don't try to win this from the three-point line.
Byron only up by 5. They've led by as much as 10. In the lane, Grow-Herring, good steal and a block. Walker George led the defense there. On the break, switches hands, no good. Rebounded by the Tigers.
Now, she should have switched hands. Here's a free.
A breakaway for Grow-Herring. It's good.
A free basket for Byron.
It's just not Walker George's night tonight, partner.
Well, you can tell she's a good player with a lot of athleticism. Traveling, dragged the pivot foot.
According to MaxPreps.com, she's a very dynamic and versatile player. She plays 3 different positions. Small forward, power forward, and center.
Yeah, in basketball, I don't know that that's anything at all. I mean, basketball, people can play all 5 positions nowadays. There's almost no positions in basketball anymore.
It is high school. It's not the NBA or the WNBA. I think that's pretty impressive. Turnaround shot, no good. Break for DePaul, ball loose. And it goes the way of the Tigers.
Yeah, Grow-Herring and Kulchin fighting for the ball.
Great backdoor cut to the lane.
Oh, looked like it could have been a clean block, but we're too far away to know if she hit her wrist or not. So two shots, though.
It's so hard to contest, right, partner? Because you got to go straight up. Any kind of lean to the right or left, the official usually gives the benefit of the doubt to the offensive player.
Oh, absolutely. A little bit of embellishment never hurt. She probably was fouled on that.
Got to hit your free throw shots.
That's the thing. If you're going to have other people shooting the ball besides your top 2 players, they got to either make the shots or make the free throws.
Well, difference between front court and back court players, right? Back court players, you don't want to foul them on layups because they usually make the free throws. Front court players, not always a guarantee with your power forward and center.
Oh, that's too stereotypical.
But sometimes true.
That's why it's stereotypical, right? Oh, don't let her go around you.
3-point shot. There's Galloway again. That time no good. Oh, Walker George with a great offensive rebound.
Steal. Great read.
Grow-Herring.
Should have been a foul called there probably.
Got it back, double team. Grow-Herring calls for it on the baseline. Back to the 3-point line.
I can't imagine leaving Grow-Herring alone. Travel? I thought there was contact. Might have been a foul. Could have been called. Instead, traveling. So 7-point lead still.
The difference, between high school and the WNBA. WNBA, a lot less travels are called here. You'll see it travel before the foul is called sometimes.
Just a slight difference between high school and professional basketball, right?
Yeah. Then the NCAA Division I in between.
Right, here's that trap, and it turned into another turnover. It was reached in from behind, yeah. Krasanik got that.
Fakes the jumper in the lane. The righty layup is good. 30-25.
Both teams are just too careless with the ball. It's not just stifling defense. It's just carelessness on offense. Nice layup.
Wow.
Kulchin with the left hand.
Feed to the big lady and Jaden Kosenik. Bielski's. In the lane, wide open, easy layup.
Byron needs to keep somebody on lead string at all times.
I mean, DePaul hasn't been good shooting at the free throw line either. Grow-Herring with the answer.
Virtually unstoppable. And DePaul's going to try to call timeout to figure out a way to stop this unstoppable player. Good time for a timeout after that basket. Still down 7, halfway through the third quarter.
Sarah Zarzymski with the timeout. We'll take a 30-second break as well. It's 34-27 in favor of Byron.
Zarzymski?
He's going to take it himself for a championship.
A double play wins it the break.
Turn it to the end zone. What a catch. It's on touchdown.
Into the layup goes at the buzzer.
34-27 after the timeout by Zerbinski.
Zarzymski?
That's a crazy name. That's very, what is that,
Just
Greek?
Lots of letters. I don't know, but my guess would be Polish, but that's a major guess. I certainly don't speak any European languages.
English is a European language, Bob.
If that's true, then I speak one European language.
England is in Europe, is it not? 3-point shot, in and out. Ball loose, rebounded by DePaul. Got to box out, partner. Out to Walker George. Gardner closely, bad foul.
Oh, did that foul need to be called?
Well, it needed to be called because it happened. Should she have fouled her? No, she should have not, because they're up 7, and Walker George, she's got to be shooting at least under 30%, if not under 20. It's not been her night in terms of shooting the ball.
So the only good thing about that foul is it took the ball out of her hands. Down low, Lidstrom again.
On the low
and
block.
Foul behind.
Might have been a bailout, but you gotta contest straight up. When you lean, it's a foul every time.
Well, what I do like is she had the ball and there were 2 players on her. So if you're Byron, do not let Lidstrom beat you.
It's been a fun game to watch, partner, because I know the analytics have changed basketball, the corner 3 and the layup, but there's still a need in this game for low block, post-up plays.
Well, the analytics have changed more the pro game than the high school game. I mean the high school game, 3-point shooters are not as good as in the professional arena. So if you're driving in for a fingertip layup for a 2-point shot and you kick it out to a 3-point shooter, that's probably not wise. If you're playing professional, you're LeBron James and you finger roll and forget the dunk and you pass it out the corner 3, you get 3 points, not 2.
34-29. When do you think DePaul's going to issue the full court press? Probably late in the fourth quarter?
I'm surprised they're not doing it already. And I'm actually surprised Byron isn't pressing as well, because they're so quick on defense. They can get some turnovers that way.
Oh, great job getting behind the defender to bail out her point guard. Here comes Byron, still in their half-court offense. Ball loose, Galloway after it. Bunch of players after it. Ball on the floor. Somehow the Tigers remain in possession of it.
Great hustle from Galloway, just didn't come up with the ball.
On the baseline, the floater, no good. Rebounded by DePaul. Here come the Rams. Might have been a good idea to call timeout, but luckily they get past the trap. In the lane, off the backboard, no good. Ball loose, got her own board briefly. Back to DePaul as they'll reset in the backcourt.
DePaul looks like they're rushing to me, and again, because they're behind is why they are. It only gets worse. Don't rush, be patient, shoot on balance. Down low, this is how you score and get back in the game. Didn't go in though.
Oh, what a rebound by Walker George.
Yeah. DePaul has to hammer the boards at those 2 players. Work it down low and shoot. Draw some fouls, get to the line.
So this is actually also where St. Edward's Central Catholic High School girls basketball plays.
This is their home court?
Yeah.
I've watched their volleyball high school team play at St. Ed, not here. So I'm intrigued that they've moved their home basketball games to here. It's a nice, great facility. It's been redone several years ago.
After all that, partner, DePaul is only down by 3.
After all that, it's well put. It's not a very safe lead, that's for sure.
In the lane, double team comes. Colchin, she's just too strong. Bob gets into the lane, gets the left hand up. The only thing you can do on defense is foul.
She is too strong. You got to keep the ball in her hands and Gorharian's hands for the shots. Just have to be patient until those 2 can shoot.
So obviously in basketball, you want the height advantage, right? You want the mismatch. You want your player to be 6'5", the defender to be 6'2". How do you get those switches to get the mismatch between 6'5" versus 6'2"?
Well, a lot of teams will work weaves, and they'll weave until they get the switch they want, and then attack from there. But you don't get those switches when you play zone defenses. They got the same player on one side or the other. So it depends also on the defense that the team is playing.
Timeout called by Byron. We'll stick with the action. It's 35-31 in favor of the Tigers. Do you think DePaul's a little bit nervous here? Do you think Byron's a little bit nervous here? I mean, both teams have not played great offensively today.
Yeah, a lot of that's because of both teams' defenses are good, but I do think DePaul is playing nervous. They're playing a little bit rushed. It will be interesting if DePaul does get a couple of baskets in a row after some steals or something. Then do they play slower and with more poise or not? But right now they're playing like a little bit too fast, I think, for them. Byron has been much more patient, but Byron's also had the lead, and you can be more patient when you have the lead.
Yeah, that's been the problem for the Rams. Every time they get close, they just can't finish the job and tie the score and get the lead. But you know what, partner? All you got to do is get the lead when the clock hits 0-0 after the fourth quarter.
Well, I felt like Byron had a couple of leads, good leads, 8-point leads kinds of leads, and they just can't extend it. DePaul has just continued to hang close. Even though DePaul, I feel like, has taken some bad shots, it's not too many turnovers. I just feel like if DePaul shoots the ball and just put both offensive rebounders under the basket, I think they can do a lot of damage that way.
If you're DePaul, who do you want shooting it? Do you want Malaya Wood? Do you want to go to Leadstrom, or do you want to go to Galloway?
Absolutely underneath the Leadstrom as many possible times as I can. And as good of a shooter as Galloway is, and as good a player as she is, I think her shooting percentage from outside is not going to be anywhere near what Leadstrom can do underneath. And then you've got Walker George to clean up any misses underneath. So I would hammer it down low to Leadstrom and work down low, get the foul or get the backboard shot.
We'll see when DePaul goes into their full court press. We have seen that if you watch Huddle. They do like to do that full court press every now and then.
Yes, they do. And here's that 1-3-1 trap from Byron.
Wood with it. Help comes out to the wing, and DePaul will slow it down. Wood, double team comes again. Bounce pass to the right wing. Now at the top of the key. Great lead pass, and just barely deflected away. Whew.
That's the turnover they wanted. That 1-3-1 half-court trap. What they do is they try to double team any dribble out on top and into the corners, and then shoot the gaps. The only person who's open is the one on the far side. He has to make a long baseball pass. DePaul beat it once with that long pass underneath the Leadstrom, but obviously this time it didn't work.
Double comes, and Byron almost lost it. These Spiel skis was the one who almost lost it. In the lane to Grow Herring. The reverse is good.
Reverse layup.
Wow.
I did not see that coming, frankly.
That was all willpower and determination by Grow Herring. What an athletic play.
No, and what else it is? It's a lot of practice in the gym. Oh, this is going to be backcourt violation.
Ball loose, steals it. Open layup is good.
It's better to get the backcourt violation than a stolen ball.
Yeah.
8-point lead now. Reverse layup and a turnover. Here's the trap in the corner. Now somebody's shooting the gap here. They got it. Nope.
Oh,
they
wow.
lost
Break
it.
for Wood.
Yes.
In the lane.
And Galloway
the
with the
layup is
basket.
good. They just don't quit, partner.
I like this trap. They're putting it in the game later, so DePaul hasn't had to play against it for the whole game, just the fourth quarter.
If I'm Byron, I would hold for the last shot, but we'll see what they want to do here.
I think that's what they're doing, yeah. They've got a 6-point lead.
If you're DePaul, are you okay with that, or do you want to press and try to get a steal?
Yeah, I think you're going to be okay with it now with just 32 seconds. They're going to stay in the man-to-man on this.
Almost stolen away. Byron taking their time. Can't be too slow, though, partner, because the trap's going to come near the backcourt.
Well, you're hoping for a turnover or something. Get the ball back that way.
Byron, not a great three-point shooting team. Terrible pass. Somehow they keep it. 5 seconds left. Ball loose. DePaul had it briefly, and it falls out of bounds. But you know what? That was a good possession for Byron. They got the clock under 5 seconds. It's going to be a half-court heave for DePaul.
Well, and that's what they wanted. Either make the basket or don't, but don't give DePaul another chance. So you've got a 6-point lead with 8 minutes to go. And that was, 6-point lead at the end of the first quarter. So really, both teams have been exactly dead even since the first quarter.
We'll take a break. You're watching DePaul against Byron here on NFHS Network.
Made from an athlete's mind for all sports minds, Level Up Branding is a unique sports marketing and branding agency, offering athlete management, brand management, and so much more. We are powered by experience, currently serving athletes in the WNBA, MLR, NFL, and college sports. We are looking to take on more clients because everyone deserves a shot at their dream. Our goal is to help others by inspiring one person at a time. Level Up Branding was founded by Lauren, who was and still is an athlete. She understands the importance of being a well-rounded and built individual. It takes an athlete to know an athlete. We are built different. There is so much more to an athlete than what is seen on the field or the court. We make it a priority to understand our athletes. We want to know and understand our clients' values, motives, passions, and future goals. At Level Up Branding, we believe
terrific defense. So get a couple 2 or 3 turnovers, you get the ball in the hoop, and you tie the game up quick. Now here's that trap.
8-minute quarters. Who will we find out will be playing at the Redbird Arena next week? Terrible shot.
Well, it was a good place to shoot the shot from, but it was
just not a good arc.
Yeah, exactly. No arc. It was kind of I don't want to say the word brick, but it was a low arc. It really didn't have a lot of chance to go in. I think if you're DePaul, you got to work it in down low, not settle for any kind of a jump shot, which I think is there's a foul call, which I think is what Byron's going to do. Use clock until they get a layup, or win from the free throw line.
Do you like the no shot clock? I understand why we don't have it. It does cost money at each gym to have it. But it does create a sizable advantage for a team like Byron with no shot clock right now.
Well, I mean, who's ever got the lead, it's a sizable advantage.
Yeah.
Another foul there. But I don't want to ever see that game. What was it, Oklahoma somewhere where it's a 4-2 final?
Yeah.
You know, you have a good team and a bad team, right? So the bad team, then they just, well, in this case, there was a fantastic team and a good team. And the good team just held on the ball. And, you know, at the end of the game, they had what they wanted. They were down 4-2, and they had a 3-point shot attempt to win the game. What's the percentage of that? 30% maybe? So they had a 30% chance of winning the game. With no shot clock, that is. With a shot clock, well, they probably would have gotten, beaten pretty bad. So I'm a big advocate for you got to have some kind of a shot clock. I'd like to see 30-second shot clocks for high school games.
Well, this might be Byron's season. Coming into the year, Winnebago had beat them 10 times in a row, including during the round of 16. But you know what? They beat Winnebago earlier this year. As that layup's good for DePaul. They just don't quit, partner. This Rams team, if they're going to lose, they're going to be losing, going down fighting.
Well, you bet. They're a good team, too.
41-35. Off the glass and good.
Right around Tataro. Maybe Tataro has to, I don't know, jump, foul, something. You can't just let that layup go in.
Especially because Byron has not been great at the free throw line today either.
Well, that's the thing. Put him at the free. They haven't been.
Great job splitting the D. Looking for the jump ball. I'm going to let you call this one, partner. I disagree with that call. I thought it was either a reach-in foul or a jump ball.
I actually agree completely. Reach-in foul or a jump ball. What happened by struggling to get the jump ball away back to her possession, she took too many steps.
Yeah, but did she travel, or was it a reach-in foul before the travel? That's the thing.
I think it could have been called a foul, and if not that, jump ball. I'm actually on board with you on that one.
No good. No one
Shooting
there.
a three there.
Easily rebounded by Walker George. Walker George with it. Go coast to coast with it.
And a foul.
Oh, man, that was key. You know what she reminds me of a little bit? A little bit of Giannis. Giannis sometimes doesn't shoot the ball well, but he rebounds and he fights and he does whatever he can to help his team win. That's what Walker George is doing.
There's got to be an equivalent WNBA player. We could have said that about Lisa Leslie or something like that. Go coast to coast after a rebound, weave in and out of the defenders, not to be denied. Unfortunately, still down by 6, but maybe down by 5 now.
Nope, still 6.
Can't got the offensive rebound and a steal.
You got to get more on that pass. Got to get more umph on it. Here comes Grow Herring.
It had to be a foul there. No foul. We're too far away. We have to replay that back on the camera later.
Yeah, that was key. That is a huge no call.
Even if it was a shot block, it would be their ball again. I don't see how it's their ball.
Well, it could have gone off a knee or something, but yeah, you're right. That should have been a foul.
I think it's a foul. But we're too far away to really be sure. Another jump shot, another no arc on it. Good offensive rebound. I didn't peg for DePaul for being this strong on the offensive boards, though. Another shot and a foul. DePaul is turning up the intensity, that is for sure. They can tell if they don't try right now in this fourth quarter, it's over for them. So they're putting everything they got into this.
Yeah, Walker George, she's got that in-between release, kind of that line drive shot that Joakim Noah had with the Bulls.
Oh, my. Now that's a comparison.
Would have loved to have that one if you're a Rams fan, but that's all right. Just make this one, make it a 5-point game.
You got to clear the boards here.
It's not about how you shoot and your percentages. Just get baskets down the stretch.
There, and you saw the arc on the free throw and it went in. That's what she needs to do if she's going to shoot those jumpers. But I think she needs to go take the layups. DePaul is strong down low. Get it down low.
Try to get it to Colchin if you can on the low block.
See, here's that stifling defense from DePaul now.
And that's the question, partner. So Byron has 4 timeouts, DePaul 3. The question remains, when do you value the timeout and when do you value keeping the possession?
Every possession is worth the timeout. Every possession. I'm surprised they called this ball in favor of DePaul. It looked to me like DePaul tipped it out of bounds.
And I bring that up because it looked like DePaul was easily going to get that steal. Byron kind of looked out of sorts. Would you have called a timeout there? They don't. DePaul gets another possession here.
That might not have been a bad time for a timeout, too. DePaul's cranking up the intensity. Byron needs to recognize that and do better.
Travel. Partner, when you're in a spot like that, the defender's about 2 steps back of you. Probably dribble, right? You have a one-on-one, try to attack, you're up by 5 points.
Of course, keep going. I'm not sure she dragged that pivot foot. We'd have to look it back later. But yeah, she stopped abruptly and then dragged the pivot foot, and that's hence the travel call. Had she kept going, there would have been no travel. Here's another shot and another foul. Do not foul her from out there. I'd say from now, if you're Byron, let her shoot from out there.
Would you allow some open mid-range looks, see if she can make them?
Well, she hasn't made one yet.
Yeah.
And she shot a lot of them. But you can tell she's playing with heart. So you want her to shoot from out there. You don't want her driving it in.
And she knows it's not her day. I always think of the Game 7 between the Knicks and the Rockets where John Starks, he shot like 1 of 15. But that was their offense. He had confidence in it, and that's what their offense ran through him at times. Second free throw is good.
Yeah, I wonder how long they're going to keep Leafstrom on the bench. I wouldn't have her on the bench. Oh, there she is. She isn't. Okay.
Yeah, you got to call a timeout there. The trap was definitely coming right on the sideline.
Well, and this is what both teams do best. They do these half-court traps. They do full-court press, stifling defenses. Both teams so far have handled it generally pretty well. Where the turnovers have been happening is on the fast breaks where they get a little bit out of control. Both teams need just a little bit of a dose of discipline, I guess you'd say. Slow it down, make good passes, fake one way, pass the other, look one way, pass the other, get the ball down low, take the foul or the backboard shot.
We'll take a 15-second break. You are watching DePaul against Byron here on SBS. But it's fine.
Well, this is great.
43-39, DePaul only down by 4.
I feel like we're watching the clock tick ever so slowly.
Yeah.
It was 6 points at the end of the first quarter, and it's been almost a dead heat even game the rest of the way. Anybody can win it. DePaul is showing an awful lot of heart now in this fourth quarter, and it appears that they're on the verge of making a comeback. But every time they look like they're going to get that next comeback and make it closer, Byron does something else to keep the carrot just a little bit too far out of DePaul's way. Stolen.
Here comes Wood. 2 women to beat. She tries to split at the mid-range jumper. No good. Fadeaway jumper is a air ball and rebounded by the Tigers. Help comes on defense as the Tigers will reset. Good job playing the basketball that time by Morton. In
Double
the lane,
team.
double team, air ball, rebounded by the Rams.
Hogan had to recognize she was double teamed and pass it back out.
They go to the bench. Kozlowski now into the game.
There was no hurry there by Byron. They needed to take the double team and push the ball back outside and go down low another time.
In the
Don't
lane,
reach.
the
Long
triple.
shot.
Just off, rebounded by Byron, and no shot clock, partner, so you can waste as much clock as you want.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend, like I said, taking 3-pointers to get back in this game.
Off the glass, no,
Out
rebounded.
of control shot again.
London with a full head of steam.
Get in the way.
Going coast to coast, the floater, no, gets her own board and fouled.
No
no call!
No, it was blocked.
Oh, man.
Slow down.
Layup is no good. Ball loose. Kolchen. Now they slow it down. Mid-range jumper.
Oh, off the backboard. I wonder if she called a bank.
It's after 8, but the bank is still open. Well, we mostly agree to disagree. I thought London was fouled, but they called no foul that time.
Now they call a reach in here. I do think she aimed for the backboard on that play. So I think that was exactly the plan. Hit the backboard, bank it in. It's easier to use the backboard than it is to try to shoot a swish from about 10 feet away at that angle. So it was a great shot. Up by 6, a reach and foul at the other end. Puts Kasanik at the line.
So here's the thing about the no shot clock, partner, is because no shot clock, it minimizes the possessions. If you're DePaul, when it gets later in the game, do you consider missing one on purpose to get the rebound?
I don't understand the logic there.
You want to get 2 points instead of possibly only making 1 and 1 at the free throw line. Or possibly getting the rebound and then making a 3.
Yeah, I don't think coaches think that way. They're just trying to get the best shot they can. Another foul on the trap. Now that's the problem when you are too aggressive on a double team. You got a double team, and be aggressive, but not reach in. In this case, there's no harm.
And I bring that up because if you miss it on purpose, somehow get the offensive board, you could hit a 3 to make it 45-42 instead of making both free throws to make it 45-41. It's risky, though, obviously, but something I've thought about lately.
Oh, that's out of control, too, as well.
And
I think she's hoping to get a foul.
And remember, there's no shot clock. You don't have to shoot that ball there. Great dribbling that time by London Walker-George. The three-pointer is good! DePaul won't quit.
So it's a
Kozlowski
three-point
off the
game.
bench.
So it's never too late, but Byron has to stop taking out of control shots.
What a game tonight. This is just the quarterfinal, by the way. We still have more basketball after this.
Yeah.
We're still 2 rounds away from the championship. 3 will tie it. Can't think that way. Got to think of a good shot. Help
Good
comes
defense
on
there. Yeah, that was good stop. Oh, the
partially
tip.
blocked,
Not gonna
partially
work. Could have been called
deflected.
there.
In the lane, draws the contact, going to the line for 2. Great
Kosanic.
drop by Kosanic.
Yep.
It's clearly a foul. Byron's fans don't like it, but it was clearly a foul.
Well, it reminds me of one of those James Harden fouls where you kind of run around and crash into somebody and fall over, and then you hope the ref calls it. But there was contact. It was a legit call. You're on the free throw line, down by 3, and a lot of time, 3 minutes to go in the game. But every time DePaul gets close, Byron does something else.
Oh, could have used that make, but that's okay. Look at the leader in London Walker-George. Walker-George, by the way, is just a sophomore. It's a young team, not a lot of seniors on it, just 2 seniors on the DePaul team.
Yeah, this game is close enough now where you're going to have to win or lose the game from the free throw line. So Byron's going to get some pack of Byron plays, and they're going to have to shoot free throws to win this game.
How confident do you feel in your backcourt players? No shot clock. You can pass it as many times as you'd like.
Well, again, DePaul's got a stifling defense. That was a shot foul.
You would have liked to try to avoid the foul there. She was close to walking out of bounds, partner. Probably try to pull the chair under her and see if she would fall out of bounds.
Well, again, I feel like it was not a control shot.
And you're only down 2. Even if she makes it, you got to think, too, because of no shot clock, if she makes the shot, it stinks, but if she makes the shot and a minute goes off the clock, that's even worse. So you're kind of hoping that they shoot the ball early on in the possession.
Yeah, I don't know if she's good from the free throw line. I think if she's good from the free throw line, that's clearly a bad foul. We don't have the free throw stats.
Man, the pressure that Bielskis is feeling right now, if she misses it, you're only up 3. If you make it, you're up 2 possessions.
Well, they've probably been here before. They're 33-2, right? Looks like good form. She hit both shots.
They were in the sectional final actually last year.
Well, now that's huge for Byron. If Bielskis can also score from the free throw line, she can then get fouled and score 2 from the line. 4-point lead, because you know that Byron's going to get on that free throw line a few more times. That's how DePaul's going to try to get the ball back.
Don't even try attempting to foul if they shoot a 3. You don't want to give up an open 3, but you definitely don't want to give up a 4-point play either. Open triple.
Byron backed into a 2-3 defense, and they took the outside shot.
Great offensive board.
Fortunately.
Thought about the 3, and DePaul taking their time, trailing by 4, under 2:30 to go.
That's out of bounds, a turnover. They didn't need that.
Totoro just wasn't ready for it. Maybe a lack of communication. And now if you're Byron, you do not have to shoot the ball if you can get some passes off.
Well, it's a 4-point lead. You know they will, but they probably will get put to the line.
Yep. Oh, they thought about the timeout. Reach-in foul by DePaul.
Well, that looked like it might have been an intentional reach-in foul, but they put, I think, in my opinion, at least, the wrong player at the line. Bielskis just nailed 2. Don't let her nail 2 more. But I think they didn't want her to dribble off more time on that clock.
You didn't, because once she had dribbled towards the sideline like that, they get into their set, and then they would have tried to run 30 seconds off with some passes.
Yeah, I'm also a little surprised that O'Harian isn't handling the ball a little bit more. Unless something we don't know. She's not a great free throw shooter, but my gut tells me she probably is a very good free throw shooter, and she should have the ball in her hands.
If you're, assuming she makes this free throw, if you're Byron, do you let them make the layup and you guard the 3-point line like it's the end of your life?
No, you don't let anybody make a layup. And here's a kind of a mild. Now they're going to pull back a little bit. I thought maybe a little bit of half court pressure wouldn't, or full court pressure wouldn't be a bad thing. Another out of control shot. Almost
after it.
Yeah, leads them almost at the rebound. DePaul's in the pickle. They're going to have to foul here.
to Grow Herring. That's the person you want with the basketball.
Great. Whoop, picked up her dribble kind of quick there.
Trap comes, they get it to Grow Herring.
Bielski looks very confident when she's got the ball and confident at the line. There's the foul.
You can almost sense it from the Byron student section and the fans. They can sense a trip to the state semifinals.
Well, 6 points is still not over yet, but they are at the line. I think this is Grunstrom. Ponytail is blocking the number.
Yeah, it should be Grunstrom.
Good. When you're 33-2, you know how to close out games, and they're doing it well. They're holding the ball until they get fouled. They'll take the layups. They'll take the fast break if it's there with numbers. They'll pull it back if there's not. DePaul down by 7, calling timeout.
We'll take a timeout as well. It's 50-43 in favor of the Tigers.
This is tomorrow. Tomorrow, very early, someone will go on her first ever run. Right after, Shelly Ann will run the 100 in under 10 seconds. By lunchtime, a shoe will grow from a seed. The WNBA will surpass the NBA in popularity. This tennis legend will launch her own video game. Also, tomorrow, we will all finally respect athletes' mental health. A woman will run a marathon on Mars. Tomorrow, we will celebrate new champions. And one sport is declared a human right. Tomorrow, we'll go really crazy. Marie Antoinette will score 7 in 7 minutes. Guy will land a 16-20. LeBron will score 120, and I don't know what this is, but it looks amazing. Of course, the internet will break. Well done, tomorrow. Can't wait to see what's next.
DePaul's in trouble, partner. It's 50-43 in favor of the Byron Tigers. Your favorite high school, college, or NBA memory? Text 330-957-7653. DePaul needs a quick basket. They're going to have to foul pretty quickly as well.
Well, and my guess, Byron is a very well-coached team, very disciplined, right? And my guess is very good from the free throw line. With a record of 33-2, they know how to close out games from that free throw line. So DePaul's up against it. Comes down to they needed to make some of those shots that they missed that were off-balance shots. Now Galloway in the corner, stolen again.
Byron does not have to shoot with no shot clock. DePaul, knowing this, will have to foul soon. And they get the foul off the pass. Well, partner, DePaul played a good game, but they just didn't shoot the ball well enough to win.
Well, yeah, I mean, I hate to write them off so fast, right? They're down by 7 with a minute to go. Byron's back at the free throw line. But yeah, they needed to pick a better bunch of shot selections. There were too many shots outside the free throw line that didn't have enough arc and needed to get the ball underneath to Liedstrom and then rebound. At this point in time, though, the only way DePaul is going to get in this game now is continue to foul. They have to follow the right people and maybe hope that their three-pointers go in.
Byron doesn't have all their defenders at the three-point line. So a three-pointer still possible for DePaul, partially blocked. And deflected, stolen away. Open layup coming up for Grow Herring.
That would be the dagger.
They need a 3 in about 10 seconds, and then they need a foul.
This isn't going to work.
Ball loose, and that will do it. Byron is headed to the state semifinals.
And if your TV screen is vibrating, it's because everybody's jumping up and down on the stands.
Why did she shoot the layup there, partner? Just let the clock run.
Well, you're right underneath. Nobody's between you and the basket. It's just on autopilot when you're underneath like that. It's not like in the NBA where it's a cartwheel dunk or something like that and embarrasses the other team. And nobody's going to accuse anybody of running up a 9-point score.
Well, I was surprised she shot it. Just wait for them to foul you or just pass it back out.
Well, she's wide open right underneath.
We'll stick with the action, 52-43. DePaul just did not shoot the ball well enough today. Just wasn't London Walker George's night tonight.
Now the question becomes, can Byron win the state championship? I mean, they've got all the necessary state championship DNA here. They've got a fantastic record, a phenomenal freshman point guard or shooting guard, whichever one you want to call her, right? And then down low, they're real strong.
Yeah, she's a shooting guard according to Huddle.com, 5'8". Great size for Bro Herring.
And she's going to grow taller, I'm thinking. She's just a freshman. That's what I'm saying. She's scary now as a freshman. Wait till she's a couple, 2 or 3 inches taller. She's already got, 460 points this year? Now, probably over 500 by now. She'll have 2,000 points before she graduates.
Nora Leedstrom, Jaden Kosanek are the only seniors on this DePaul team. We wish them all the best in their post-high school careers. They did not get the state semifinal appearance they were looking for. Off the backboard, no good. Second chance is just not enough. Offense for DePaul tonight. And Byron will run up the clock likely on this possession. Well, an excuse me foul by DePaul, and Byron will get 2 more shots at the free throw line. You could sense it from the DePaul defender and Sarah Kozlowski. She's like, I didn't mean to foul, I just wanted the clock to run. 52-45.
Great student section here cheering and jumping up and down, making the TV set move up and down because our camera is moving up and down in the last row of the bleachers here. It's an electric crowd here. Lots of people made it from Byron. Not quite as many from DePaul.
They're a tough team to beat, partner, but I don't know if I can trust Byron because they didn't impress me shooting the 3 tonight.
No, I'm here to say, I think you're looking at the future state champion. I'm going to put my money on Byron.
That'll do it. Officially, Byron wins by 7 points, and the Lady Tigers are going to Bloomington for the state semifinals.
So congratulations to Byron. Eric Yearley, Bryant Guest, Daniel Myers, the coaching staff. Fantastic effort from the whole entire team. They played with heart. They deserve this win, and I think you're going to see them hoisting the trophy in Normal.
Well, they need 2 more wins to do so. They'll probably meet a fellow #1 seed in the next round. Quincy Notre Dame only has 1 loss this year, so that's a team they might play in the championship game, assuming Byron advances that far. There is a consolation game, so Byron, regardless, will play 2 games. It might be for 3rd place for the 2nd game, or it might be for the championship game.
And talk about a bright future for Byron. Between Gro Herring, freshman, and then Malia Morton, a freshman. They also have 2 other freshmen on the roster, Marchini and
Green.
Right, freshmen on the roster. Right.
That's probably why he went to Illinois State, and not Harvard. Hopefully, you didn't write freshmen in your college admissions essay. Trophy presentation. So me and Bob will take a break and show you the trophy presentation here on SBS, the broadcasting network for everyone.
It's October 26, 1997. Game 7 of the World Series between the Cleveland used to be called the Indians and the Florida Marlins. You know what? We're going to call them the Indians because the Marlins are now known as Miami Marlins. Anyway, the bases are loaded with 2 outs. It's the bottom of the 11th inning. Things aren't looking great for the Guardians/Indians, but it was bases loaded and 1 out. If Cleveland can just get an out, they can still win its first World Series since 1948. As for the Marlins, this is their first trip to the Fall Classic. In fact, the Fighting Fish just began 5 short years ago, and you guessed it, this is their first trip to the postseason. What a way to potentially get your franchise's first ever World Series win. Game 7 on a walk-off win in front of your home fans. Remember, with the bases full of Marlins, there are several ways that Florida can win the game besides a base hit. Wild pitch, a pass ball hit by a pitch, catcher's interference, a walk, or a balk can give the Marlins their first ever World Championship. All the pressure seems to be on Indians pitcher Charles Nagy, or is the weight of the world really on Edgar Renteria in the batter's box? To answer that question, let's rewind. As previously talked about, the Indians are looking to win their first World Championship since 1948. In fact, from 1955 until the strike-short 1994 season, the Indians were basically the doormat of the American League. Bill Veeck, former owner of the Indians, decided to become the first American League team to allow African Americans to play Major League Baseball. Jackie Robinson gets all the glory for breaking the color barrier, but Larry Doby was discriminated against just as bad, if not worse, as the legendary Brooklyn Dodgers first baseman and later shortstop. Veeck was so worried about Doby having a terrible experience and even Doby's safety that he didn't even allow Larry to play in Cleveland's minor league system. It wasn't much easier for Doby once he left the Negro Leagues to play in the majors. There wasn't a designated hitter at the time, and Cleveland felt secure at second base and shortstop with Lou Boudreau at short and Joe Gordon at second base. His teammates weren't thrilled about Doby taking their everyday position, and it got so bad for Doby that he had to borrow a first baseman from the opposing team since the Indians never told him he'd be playing first base, and his teammates wouldn't give him a glove. His rookie season was a tough one, both on and off the field, as Doby batted just .156 in 1947. But in 1948, Doby was a key piece on the 1948 World Series ball club as he led the Indians with a .318 clip and became the first black player to hit a home run in the Fall Classic. Keep in mind that Doby had to play center field every day after not playing much of the outfield coming into the major leagues. Whether you believe in karma or not, the Indians won the 1948 World Series just a year after integrating the American League. Doby, fellow African-American teammate Satchel Paige, and the rest of the Indians became national celebrities, and they made appearances in the movie The Kid from Cleveland. Doby played in 7 consecutive All-Star games from 1949 to 1955, and he won the home run title twice. His combination home run and RBI title in 1954 helped the Indians win the American League pennant, but the New York Giants swept the 111-win Indians in 4 games. Ironically, the Giants entered the 1997 season without a World Series championship since sweeping Cleveland. Things started to get bad rather quickly for the Indians. Not only did they not win a pennant for 40 years, but Indians writer Terry Pluto explained the Indians' misfortunes due to a curse. Starting in 1959, the Indians never finished more than 11 games out of first place for the pennant. Not only did the Indians not win a division crown until 1995, but Terry Pluto jokingly came up with a reason for the Indians' pain: the curse of Rocky Colavito. When the Indians traded away fan favorite and consistent all-star slugger Rocky Colavito in 1960, Pluto joked in his book, The Curse of Rocky Colavito, that Rocky put a curse on the franchise since they traded him to Detroit while still in the prime of his career. Even when the Indians got Colavito back in the 1960s, it cost them Tommy John and Tommy Agee. John finished just shy of 300 wins once he left the Indians, and Agee was a key piece on the Miracle Mets of the 1969 World Series. After the Indians traded away Jim Mudcat Grant to the Twins, Grant won 78 more games, including 21 in 1965, to help the Twins win the American League pennant. After the team won a surprising 84 games in 1986, the team lost over 100 games in 1987, following the famous Sports Illustrated tagline of "Indian Uprising, Indians are the best team in the American League." Joe Carter was originally a Cleveland Indian. You might remember Joe Carter's famous walk-off homer during Game 6 of the 1993 Fall Classic as a member of the Toronto Blue Jays. However, Bobby Bryon famously cursed the team of never winning another pennant after getting terminated from his managerial position in 1958. Bryon forever denied that he cursed the team. Whether the Indians are cursed or not, the team was basically a non-factor when it came to postseason baseball. But after Albert Bell, Jim Tomei, Kenny Lofton, Roberto Alomar, and Stanley Alomar Jr. became part of the everyday lineup, the Indians were now in business. The 1994 season saw the Indians finish one game out of first place in the newly revamped American League Central. When baseball returned in 1995, the Indians won their first ever division title. The Indians incredibly won 100 games out of a strike short 144. Cleveland swept Boston and then overcame the upstart Mariners 4-2 to get back to the World Series. The Indians won the last 3 games against Seattle to advance to the Fall Classic. Everything seemed to go well for Cleveland. They didn't have to play the Yankees in the ALCS due to Edgar Martinez's famous double in extra innings, and they had a much better record than the Braves.
It's December 28th, 2003. The 9-6 Minnesota Vikings are playing on the road. A win in this game clinches a playoff spot for the Vikes. And with the Cardinals entering the contest with a record of 3-12, it looks like Minnesota is headed back to the postseason. The ball is placed at the 28-yard line, but with the Cardinals down by 5 and under 10 seconds remaining, a field goal does them no good here. As such, it's up to quarterback Josh McCown to heave up a Hail Mary for the incredible comeback win. But a lot is happening here. In fact, there was a lot of drama coming into this moment. The mere fact that the Cardinals still have a chance to win the game is practically unbelievable. Before we find out what happens next, we need to understand where both teams currently stand. Nothing is ever simple in football, especially when it comes to a Hail Mary attempt. Win or lose, it's coming down to the last play for both teams, and for that, we need to rewind. The Vikings have a decent record at 9-6, but for Vikings fans who remember the 2003 season, they should have a lot more wins. Minnesota was once undefeated this season. Impressively, the Vikings won their first 6 games. But things started to unravel quickly for the Vikes. After a red-hot start to the year, Minnesota dumped its next 4 in the toilet. Even more embarrassingly, only one of those 4 straight defeats was by less than 10 points. While it didn't seem to be a big deal at the time, loss number 2 of the 4-game losing streak was a critical 3-point defeat at the hands of the Green Bay Packers. This was huge because the Vikings outlasted the Packers 30-25 during Week 1. If the Vikings had won during Week 9 against the Packers, they would have owned the head-to-head tiebreaker for the NFC North Division. This means that the Vikings wouldn't need to win on the road in Week 17. But the Vikings couldn't take care of business, and the losing continued into Week 12. From 6-0 to now 6-4, now the Vikings are 9-6. And if they could have just outlasted the Bears a couple of weeks ago, they'd be in the playoffs. Instead, Charles Peanut Tillman made the signature play of his underrated career as he overpowered Randy Moss in the end zone. And now, the Vikings need a win today to clinch their postseason tickets. Both the Packers and the Vikings were 9-6 coming into Week 17, so the Vikings need a win or a Packers loss to win the division. The old saying, every game matters in football, definitely stood the test of time for the Vikings in 2003. Still, going from 6-0 to 9-6 is technically a collapse. And this was supposed to be a new era of Vikings football, and with Mike Tice as the head coach. Gone were the days of Dennis Green's Vikings blowing playoff leads or getting dominated in the tournament. Green's Vikings went 15-1 during the 1998 regular season, but they couldn't finish the deal as the Dirty Birds Atlanta Falcons upset them at the Metrodome during the NFC Championship game. Didn't Green know the Dirty Birds, who he thought they were, but he still left them off the hook?
But they are who we thought they were, and we let them off the hook.
A primarily running team led by Jamal Anderson, the Falcons took advantage of a late missed field goal by Gary Anderson and then won in overtime. A crushing blow for the Vikings in 1998, but they were still good enough to get another bite at the Lombardi Trophy apple in 1999. The Vikings' offense was still as dominant as ever in 1999. While the greatest show on turf, St. Louis Rams, were the only team in the NFL with over 6,400 total yards. The Vikings still finished in top 5 in total yards at just under 5,800. However, turnovers were problematic for Minnesota in 1999. They turned the ball almost 19% of the time when they drove down the field. With Randall Cunningham struggling at QB the year before, Y2K, Green made a quarterback change and gave the keys of the offense to journeyman Jeff George. George was a former number 1 overall draft pick, and he looked the part of a franchise quarterback in 1999. His Vikings went 8-2 with him as the starting quarterback, with the Vikings earning a spot in the wild card round. They easily took care of the aging Dallas Cowboys 27-10 as the Vikings advanced to the divisional round against Kurt Warner's Rams. George was excellent on this day, but incredibly his 4 touchdown passes weren't nearly enough to outlast the Rams. A terrible day for the Vikings on defense as the Vikes gave up 49 points and 5 touchdown passes to the future Hall of Famer in Warner. If the Vikings defense had just been moderately respectable, they probably would have advanced to the NFC title game. Jeff George finished with 423 yards passing and 29 completions, but he also had 21 incompletions. The Vikings originally trailed 49-17, so to be fair, some of George's completions came during garbage time. In 2000, the Vikings truly believed the third time would be the charm, choosing not to retain George.
It's Colchin. Ava Colchin?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Let me know when you're ready, Chris. Give me a countdown. Welcome to the post-game show brought to you by Sports Broadcast Solutions, a broadcasting network for everyone. My name's Kyle Smith, but I, of course, don't matter. This young lady matters. Ava Colchin, the player of the game, as the Byron Tigers advance to the state semifinals, a 52-45 win, thanks to the senior in Colchin. Ava, DePaul gave you their best effort, but your team was the better one tonight. What were you guys working on in practice, especially on those half-court traps that made DePaul's offense just so hard to get past those traps?
I mean, the entire season we've continued to work on our defense, just keep playing our game. If we play our habits and we do our job and the rest of the team does their job, we're going to be good in the end. If we just keep working together, that's what helps get those traps and gets everything rolling.
I got to say, this program is really impressive. 4 freshmen on the varsity team. What do you guys work on in travel, AAU, and feeder to have just so many players that can make the varsity, even the freshman players?
I mean, everyone puts their time in. They all work hard. Everyone's putting in their time in the off season, and we come together during our season. We really take all of our talents together to be the best we can be.
What was the coaching staff talking to you as the game got down the stretch? DePaul was making it close, but you were there, especially at the free throw line, to close this one out.
Just the entire game, we talk about keeping a calm, cool mindset, just staying focused, staying in the moment, not ignoring the noise, not focusing on anything else, and that's what really helps us win it in the end.
What else can we say? Macy Grow-Herring, a freshman, but she doesn't look like it on the court.
She's worked really hard. She just works within our habits and what we need to do, and it's took a while, and we've worked together to fit into the program. We all just do our best we can together, and that's what helps her.
Final thoughts about the win tonight? You're 2 wins away from a state championship. What does that feel like?
We're just really excited, but we just keep focusing one game at a time, working together, and doing the best we can. Thank you.
That's Ava Colchin. That does it for our post-game show. So for our excellent crew, Anthony Collada, Bob Vilsawe, and Chris Angela, I'm Kyle Smith signing off. A 52-45 win for Byron, and we'll see you next time on SBS.